Welcome back to Getting Worked, everyone. It's your boy Jarrett, hanging out here with my boy Ian. How in the heck is it going, man?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. They're pretty good. They trying to find a way to kill the rooster, but they ain't got it yet.
Not yet. No.
They trying.
It's hard to put a man down, man.
But no, man. No, it's Tuesday.
Right. Thank goodness. We're getting there. We're making our way through the week. Figured tonight we would we would talk about some NBA. So we've been talking about wrestling and everything, but the NBA has started to take hold, I guess, before the NFL kicks it in probably a week or two.
Sure.
But so have you had a chance to look up just the craziness that is happening with the Kevin Durant saga and I almost said it again, in Brooklyn.
Not Jersey, Brooklyn.
Yeah, not New Jersey. How long have they not been in Jersey? Like, they've been not in Jersey a long time. Show my age here.
Yeah, I know. I can't even remember exactly when it all like switched over, and they had like that the Russian owner.
Yeah.
Or like it's either Russian or Ukrainian or something, and
it was Russian. He was Russian.
Like maybe had some ties to the mob, and like
absolutely, yeah. He was, because he had that. So there's something up with this team. There's certain teams that are maybe we'll start there. There's a little bit of snake bit historical. It seems like we've been here before in a weird way type of thing. So you remember when he bought them? He then traded every draft pick known to mankind for a whole bunch of old players from Boston. It was Paul Pierce, who was way past his prime, and Kevin Garnett, who was way past his prime. It seemed like there was somebody. Did he trade for Rondo? No, Rondo wasn't on that team. He traded a ton of draft picks to Boston. Basically, it's how Boston has their team now. If we go back and did like all the research on that, it's the reason that they had the draft pick for Jason Tatum. There was some other trades in there as well, but it's the reason they had like the number one pick that year and were able to trade down to 3 for Tatum and stuff like that. And why they had so many draft picks, unprotected draft picks, all of that back then. They seem to have come full circle, and they've in a weird way maybe have done it again, but this time I don't feel as. That time it was on them. That was a them problem, not a you problem. This time, I don't know. I weirdly feel bad for them, and I usually don't side with the front office.
Sure,
but I personally speaking, I feel bad for the Nets because they haven't done anything particularly wrong. In fact, they've kind of bent over backwards for KD and his crazy counterpart.
I mean, like multiple like crew of over and over.
Yeah, hiring Nash. And I will say that before we jump too far, we'll jump further down this road here in a little while. But the Nash hiring, everyone's like, well, KD said to hire Nash. I don't know that he said to hire Nash. It's a really different thing to say, hey, Jared, go out and hire Steve Nash specifically. Then, let's say Jared's running the team. Jared comes to me and is like, hey, Ian, what do you think if we hire Steve Nash? And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. There's a big difference between those two scenarios. I'm not sure so much which one it was, but either way, yeah. So, what do you? I've talked for a while. What's your quick and dirty take on what's going on there?
I guess I kind of think about it just more from a macro level. I think what KD's doing is really putting a serious microscope to some kind of nagging issues that has been spoken about fairly publicly by a lot of the talking heads, and even like a lot of folks, if you watch a lot of folks on YouTube around basketball, you hear them talking about it as well, around the fact that, maybe players might have a little bit too much power, especially certain ones, and then also the way like aspects of the CBA and some of like the NBA trading rules and restrictions and different things are put in place right now, they may have painted themselves into a corner that at least short term would be very, very difficult to get out of. And so what you end up with are these teams that now, granted, you know, the thing is, you tell teams like, oh, nobody forced you, but now you got teams like that, like this, where they get a guy like KD, they pay the moon for it and do all this stuff, and then they get, you know, Kyrie, James Harden, all this stuff, and now what do they have to show for it? Really, it's yeah,
right.
It's
no,
so that's kind of that's how I look at it. Really, it's more of the kind of at the macro scale. KD right now, 37-year-old guy, and I know at certain points in time, you know, especially depending on you ask, you know, people will consider him arguably, you know, one of, if like in the running for best player in the NBA currently, but he's 37.
Well, no, he's 30. He'll be 37 when his contract's over.
Okay,
30, so he's 34.
Oh, okay, so he's not quite that bad, but still, like,
yeah, he's knocking on. So I before, and we'll jump a little bit deeper down. Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Cax? How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, no, we are. I will say this as far as the Nets go. The Nets, so KD and previous before him, Ben Simmons, and to a degree, much lesser degree, the James Hardens, a little bit of Kyrie, maybe. You know, Kyrie is always there because, you know, crazy tends to bring crazy. All of the LeBron, probably to a little degree. I don't knock him. He's done it as best you can do it while, you know, maintaining your power.
Sure.
All of this stuff is going to come back in the CBA. I think we're heading toward a lockout. To be perfectly honest, I think we're heading toward a lockout. I hope not. I would love for somebody to be able to show that clip right there in whenever their, you know, CBA is over and say how terribly wrong I was. I think we're heading to a lockout because of this type of stuff right here. KD and Ben Simmons last year, even more so, I think has gotten the owners to rally around, you know what, screw this. No, we can't. It's one thing for the players to have control. It's another thing for them to hold my team hostage.
Right.
Those are very, very different things. While we've been bending over backwards to accommodate them the entire time. So.
And I think, I was going to say, I think probably one of the biggest things is to start to kind of take a look, especially at the KD situation and what Brooklyn, between KD, between Kyrie, between James Harden, like what did, say, like a team like Brooklyn had to give up? What was the impact to not just them, but also, man, like other teams trying to get a hold of, like if they wanted to get a hold of them, what would that look like? You know, you start to get to where the contracts start to blow up too much, then it makes it even harder to move them. It's very tricky, you know, to be able to.
There's so much to this, and so much nuance.
Yeah, and to your point about the lockout,
like, you can get to nuance, but I mean, there's so much big boulders, dude, not even nuance.
But to your point of lockout, I think especially what it's gonna really kind of be the pressing point are. Yeah, you're going to have these owners that are just going to be saying, okay, enough's enough, guys. Look, we've got to be able to, we are the owners of the teams.
Correct.
Let's get this straight. Yeah. And it was almost kind of like, you know, especially kind of, you know, maybe even like years ago, where you have the WWE, where they were the only gig in town.
Exactly. But that's like actually a really good tie-in.
The chances of someone like an AEW popping up somewhere is like nil to nothing to never.
Sure.
So, like, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, we're the only gig in town, and especially for some of you, like, older players that are pushing this stuff.
And three big three. You mean they're not going to take over and replace the NBA? Is that not a thing? No.
Man, I'm waiting for the mixtape days to come back. I'm waiting for that for those tours to come out with the videos out of Rutgers coming through, and like that's what I'm waiting for,
there.
man.
I love Rucker Park was amazing. I have played there. I was terrible, and they destroyed me. That was all I was really worried about. So I was good there. But you did have a dude almost dunk on me. I say almost dunk on me only because I got out the way. So I was smart enough to get out the way. But
my only claim to my biggest claim to fame from a basketball perspective was that I got to play in a 5-on-5 tournament at the same UNC court that one Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan played on.
Oh, hi.
In his college days.
Well, if we're going down,
but that's it. It's just the court. Like that was it. That was it.
Of brushes with greatness type of deal. I did play against Allen Iverson.
Oh, nice.
You remember the Dell?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Allen Iverson wasn't Allen Iverson yet. I mean, he was, but he's
in Virginia. He was, but yeah,
exactly. So I guarded Allen Iverson, and by guarded I mean I was near him. And I was there. I was, let's go. Full Duke, slap the court, and then he dunked.
Just gone.
I was still at half court. But no, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was close. It was very, very close to that.
That's why. I'm watching my boy McClug out in the summer leagues, and up in the Warriors. For the Warriors. He actually played for the Bulls for a minute.
Yeah, I remember his name.
During the COVID season. He played for the Bulls for he was on a 10-day contract with them for a bit. Played for a minute. Right. He's had a slow run kind of getting going, but he's actually starting to pop up and starting to show something where he's like, okay, he's actually working on his game and actually. But for a while there, especially when he was at Georgetown, he was like they were saying he was kind of like the white Iverson because for his size, just the hops and just the general quickness that he had. Yeah. The biggest thing was what's weird is that he doesn't have at least back then, didn't have the handle Iverson had. Oh, but now he's actually starting to kind of show glimpses of I wouldn't say Iverson level, but definitely improved handle and a bit more kind of actual being able to be aware of the team and everything like that. It's one thing to play selfish is if you get it. If you can drop 35 plus, then okay. But if you're only dropping 18, a little bit of a different conversation. But anyway, back to
the KD discussion.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you. So I'll start off. I figure, and you jump in and
sure.
What your kind of take is. My take is to answer: is KD really worth it? Personally, no, I don't think so at this point. I think he has used up his worthwhile. If I was the Nets, I can't say it's time to cut bait, but I would absolutely. There's kind of there's a balance you got to find, right? You got to find the balance between you don't want to cut your nose off to spite your face. That's right. the old saying, right? You don't want to hurt yourself just to hurt somebody else. You don't want to do that. With that said, they do hold all the cards in that KD is signed for 4 years, and not only is he signed he's signed till the 2026 is when he's a free agent. He'll be 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
His contract currently is $44 million this year, 44 million this year, 47 next year, 51 the year after, and 54 in his year 37. That's a lot of money. No one's giving that money up. No one in their right mind. So the whole well, I'll sit out. He could just sit out. He could. He's not giving up that kind of money. No. He's a moron. He is a complete idiot if he's sitting out doing that. And it doesn't get him to his end game either. If the Nets come to the point where they decide, you know what, we are okay not trading you and we just paying you to sit at home. If they get to that point, KD's all of his not credibility, but all of his power gone.
Yeah,
out the window. That means his career is pretty much ending with him sitting at home, collecting a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, collecting a lot of money. I think the Nets need to hold to their guns at least through this season. I'm not saying at the end, for 2, 3, 4, till the end of this contract. No, you got to kind of cut bait at some point. But I do think at least trade deadline or the end of the season, I think you got to kind of hold your cards and say, no, we're going to get 4 draft picks, 3 draft picks and a young player, 2 draft picks and 2 young players, whatever, you deem as a good value for this guy. You got to hold on to it, because I think otherwise, if you give in, let's say they go and they fire, because his most recent demand is, sorry, I jumped
no.
for a second. His most recent demand is that he said that he would stay with the Nets, but he's talking to the owner, which right there shows a little bit of a power issue.
Exactly. Yeah.
You skip not 1 but 2 levels. That's odd in any company. And not only did you skip up a couple of levels to talk to somebody directly, it's one thing to talk to them hey, I'm really upset about blah, blah, blah. Sure, that's one thing. I'll stay if you fire levels 1 and 2 above me, the head coach and the GM. That's going down a real slippery, tricky road as an owner and as a team in general. You're messing around with the chemistry, not just chemistry, the culture of your team. And I mean, KD is 34. The culture of your team lasts 10, 20 years.
Right.
What your decision is today will very easily have a ripple effect 10, 20 years down the road. Don't believe me? See the Chicago Bulls from the late 90s when they screwed over Jordan and Pippen.
And it's bizarre how that can happen. It's teams just get a stank on them.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your name, you can move cities, you can change ownership, you can do whatever, but there's something there's some kind of core spirit to the team that it's just you just can't shake it. You can do whatever you want to try and mitigate that, but at the end of it all, just stuff happens. And things like this where, you let a player, especially someone outside of his stint with the Warriors, who had already won gold before him,
let's call that what
has not brought a ring in. He's supposed to be that guy, and he hasn't even gotten the team to the finals on his own.
So let's he hasn't. Let's chat about KD for a second. So KD the player, and I don't mean the player that he was at 27 and things like that, but the KD the player, and I don't dislike KD. I don't have anything. I'm a Bulls fan. I don't have anything against KD. We've never crossed as a team or anything like that.
Sure.
There's no ill will toward him. I don't particularly care for LeBron. I take my shots at LeBron as far as the player on the court. That guy. KD is 34 years old. He is now 2 years removed from not knee surgery, but what was the Achilles?
The Achilles, yeah.
So he's 2 years off of that. Which
well,
is
I'm sorry. Let me get it right. High ankle sprain.
No, exactly. That's what it was. That's why he was out a whole year.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. So, oh yeah, that year that he was out, where did he get that money from? It was with the Warriors? No, it wasn't with the Warriors. It was with the Nets.
Yep.
Who signed him to a max deal with being out for the season.
Yep.
So
Warriors are able to just like be like, see ya.
Yeah, the Warriors were out.
I mean,
yeah, don't let the door hit you. Which has to tell you a little bit of something. Yes, I know the whole Draymond Green and him, and
so you gotta wonder.
KD is 34 years old.
Yeah,
he is not as athletic as he was because he's 34. That's not a knock on him. It's called time. That's how time works. He is making $44 million. His cap hit. Sorry, his base salary is 42. His cap hit is 44. So coming into this season, he's making 42 million. Cap hit of 44 million. So max money. First year of his 4-year deal. He's making that kind of money coming in at age 34. Is his game predicated on athleticism? I wouldn't say so.
Not entirely. No.
Right? Like at the end of the day, he is a jump shooter. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, his shot is that three. Being able to just be 7 feet tall or 6'11". 6'11" plus 2. And
well, it was a long time he was 6'9", so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever version he's wanting to be listed at. 6'10", 11, 12, 7 foot, whatever you want to call him. And being able to shoot the ball from behind his head, unblockable shot. It's not an athletic.
It's like Kareem with the sky hook.
Drive and right, exactly.
Perfect it's a similar kind of move. It was more of a skill type move. You still had to have the skill to do it. This is why I've always said, I've always been a strong proponent of, okay, great. Athleticism can get you in the game. Skill and fundamentals is what's going to keep you there.
Absolutely.
You know what? I mean, again, look at the big fundamental. Look at Tim Duncan. And you're talking about a guy who was actually banging down low still. What does he do? He gets older. He drops down to like a good 30 pounds, and then just kind of works more on changes up his game a little bit and goes with a bit more of kind of still a post player, but not like banging down. Durant was never really one of those type of players in the first place.
No.
So,
not at all.
And even as kind of a wing, I mean, you're right. It was more a matter of, it's really more of a matter of, will his wheels hold up enough to be able to allow him to do the minimum of what he needs to be able to do that way. And then, I agree, he's still, and as long as he's not, losing kind of that motion with his shot, and best I've been able to gather, he hasn't really had any problems with his shoulders or his arms or his fingers too much, especially since he hasn't been that kind of, he'll drive it down, but he usually is he picks his spots and finds a good open lane and kind of uses his length to get him there. It's not like he plays the way Antetokounmpo typically will play. Just because he's a beast, he can do it. But, so granted, I think KD does have some level of longevity. But at the same time, let's be fair here. KD has had how long at his prime? Because he's at the tail end of it.
Well,
but he's had how long at his prime? And where are my rings?
He's at the end of his prime. If he hasn't already begun his decline, to be honest with you. So now I'm the owner, right? Or you know what? I'm going to put you in the owner's see, because I think I've already said kind of. I've just laid the facts of the matter out. 34-year-old superstar, declining superstar probably at this point. And that's not a knock, but it's just father time. Or let's say one more year of prime type of deal. The 34, he's going to make $42 million this year, 45. What was the number I had? I just rolled it off. He's going to make a lot of money over these next 4 years.
Yeah, you had him at 42, 44 max, and then like I remember pre-stream you were talking about something like 53 at the end, like at the very end of it.
Yeah, it's 53 million. That's insane with a $54 million cap hit, almost 55.
Oh God,
that is age 37 year of a guy that has already had Achilles issues and hasn't played that many games. He hasn't exactly been the picture of health, right? Over the last even his Warriors games, he was already starting to slide just a little bit as far as picture of health type of deal. I bring you all of that as the owner of the Nets. And I'm gonna play the Kevin Garnett role. So I want you to fire the GM and head coach. The head coach who I either said for you to hire or said, yeah, that's fine. Either, like, those are two very different things. Like, I think, do you agree with that? Those are very different kind of ways of going about it. Sometimes it's reported that he hired Steve Nash because he was with the Warriors. I don't know that that's the case. I really don't know that that's the case. I think he was more like, yeah, that sounds fine. Obviously, neither of us were there, but that's sort of the feel that I've always kind of gotten. I'm coming to you with that, saying I want you either trade me or I want these two jokers gone. How do you feel?
So I would need a little bit more time to really kind of think about it to try and get in the Nets owner's head.
I was just getting ready to say. I said I kind of put you on the spot, so I apologize.
No. But me personally.
You personally.
First of all,
take your work hat off and stuff like that, because I know
from my standpoint, like really, like I mean, like okay, so let me assume that the scenario of me saying, or at least maybe kind of getting some of the input, and at least, or at the very least saying, we're coming in and hiring this coach, and Katie says okay. That was my fault to begin with. First of all, that conversation never should have happened. And second of all, this conversation right now wouldn't happen. It flat out wouldn't happen. I'm the owner of the team. There should be a certain level of abstraction. Even like, again, and even if this was 27-year-old Kevin Durant.
Sure.
Much less now, I'm still going to call him 37. Much less 37-year-old Kevin Durant, because you might as well be.
Yeah, added 4 years on it, man.
Fine,
come on.
whatever.
Man. None of us want that.
Where are my rings?
Yeah.
You might as well be 37. Because that's basically what I was saying, like, where are my rings? That's kind of what I was thinking about from the owner's perspective. Where are my rings? Where are my finals, like, present? Like, how deep are we getting to the playoffs? Now, granted, and believe you me, there is an evaluation going on from the perspective of the value of our current GM and office structure and our coach. Coaches get hired and fired all the time.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you this.
Coaches affect the
coach. But my last statement on this, I can tell you there's going to be a multi-factor variable analysis going on at hand looking at all of this. Do you know what point of reference will not exist as part of that analysis, Mr. Kevin Durant? Do you want to know? That's your goddamn opinion, because I don't care. I'm sorry, but like I don't like it really kind of boils down to, like, if you're asking like me as the owner looking through this and I'm looking back on things, maybe you know what, maybe I let a little bit too much slide. Okay, fair enough, but I wouldn't be making that mistake again.
You gave me or Kevin Durant, whatever version of that,
even more reason.
You gave
exactly
me power.
Yep.
I took power, whatever version of that you want to go with, right? Yeah, like KD. Obviously, the owner and him have allowed them to believe that this is their relationship, right? Like, this is their relationship. That you can come in my office, roll in, and be like, hey, yeah, fired them two jokers. Coach, GM, and the NBA as a whole has... And not just it's because I don't want to just pick on the Nets owner as if they're just the idiots.
No, you're right. It's not
NBA
quite just a Nets problem.
If we go back and we talk about the Ben Simmons of the world, we were talking about this. I think we weren't on air yet. I think we were talking about it. But Ben Simmons plays a role on this, right? Like, think of the stuff that this owner has bowed to, released power to, given power, whatever version that you want to go with.
Yeah.
To Kevin Durant, and in a way also his crazy sidekick, being Kyrie Irving. So there has been nothing but power given out, and if you keep giving out power to the people, you know, the inmates running the asylum type of thing. If you keep giving them power to run the asylum and then they all riot and go crazy, whose fault is that, per se?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that is what they've done for 2-3 years now. They've done nothing but, oh, Kyrie, okay, golly gosh darn it, don't get the shot. Okay, fine. It's okay. KD, oh, you want James Harden, your buddy and pal from Houston? Okay. We'll trade, and let's because that's another thing. Let's talk about the trade for James Harden, which was absolutely without question. I may question the coach. I do not question the James Harden trade. That was a KD move.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was a KD move. The Nets chose to give up their first round pick in 2022, 2024, 2026. All unprotected, I might add. And first round pick swaps for 2021, 2023, 2025, and 2027. So from 2021 to 2027, they do not control their draft picks. Okay? Do not control any of their first round draft picks. So that's 7 years. 7 years. None of their draft picks do they control at this point, because you wanted your buddy James Harden to be on the team, who isn't even on the team anymore. Ironically, you went traded for more crazy. So they made that deal. Oh yeah, by the way, sent off Jarrett Allen, who you could probably use on the team now.
Oh, tell me about it, dude. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Jarrett Allen with KD and Kyrie, what does that team look like? A lot different, right? So you've made all of those trades. Again, all of those are unprotected. Like, I can't stress just how bad of a trade that is. And that's what I was referring to at the beginning of when we first started talking about where the Nets, different ownership at the time.
Right.
Traded away all the draft picks unprotected to the Boston Celtics at the time to bring in.
I swear that Russian owner was just, for whatever reason,
he's trying to get that win. He's trying to get that.
But I think he might have just been like one of those like fans of the Celtics, and like not really understanding how the NBA worked, not really understanding how any of that. But it's like, I'm Russian, I'm rich, I don't care, and basically tried to recreate that team as much as he could, and then got really surprised why it didn't work.
Remember, during that same time, there was we referred to it maybe not last stream, probably a couple of streams back. We were talking about. Do you remember I told you about Joe Smith? We talked about Joe Smith.
Oh yeah.
That little under the table, like wink, wink. Hey, we'll sign you to this $1.5 million deal, but we're really gonna pay you $10 million under the table.
Mm-hmm.
That I think a little bit of that was going on as well, because they signed. Who was Kirilenko? Do you remember on?
Oh no, dude! I remember Kirilenko.
AK-47.
Yeah, he was actually
a right?
pretty damn good player, really. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And he signed with them for like way less than market value. Who was Russian, by the way? He's Russian as well.
Oh, I mean, exactly.
Come on. We know how what was happening.
Yep.
I'm not even mad at him. I'm like, hey, good for you, bro. But I think But yeah, so the Nets have always got some front office issues, and it's different ownership even. But anyhow, so they don't own any of their or control any of their draft picks for the next 7 years, basically, or for the last 7, a total of 7 years. They don't control any of that. Again, all because of KD. Again, power given away, right? The power has been given away to KD, and it's this type of a thing. I don't know. The more I just talk about this and think about it, the less good feelings I have toward KD, as far as if I'm the ownership of the Nets, that type of a thing.
Well, so, and again, I think it's important. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm kind of stacking on top of this. Let's look at.
Usually, Jarrett and I kind of bounce back and forth. Like he'll have kind of a different take.
I think it's more a matter of just maybe just having a slightly different perspective to add to it, and that's kind of where I'm going with here. Let's look at Kevin Durant as a player. Not even as much on. It's really kind of like it's like if he's on the court, it's fine.
Oh, absolutely.
It's once you
never
get
about the guy on the
him,
court.
and it's not even necessarily about the dude as like a moral human being necessarily either, because I don't think he's necessarily a bad dude.
No,
but
this is not a personal indictment on he's just a terrible person.
And then I might be touching on that a bit though, because he's soft. He's SAWFT, soft. And you can't teach that.
There.
Like I mean, like he's like the way he reacts to the media, the way he reacts to any kind of criticism.
Do you know he has rabbit ears?
Yeah,
he has rabbit ears. What was that? Was somebody talking about me? And the funny thing with him is that he acts like, if you have rabbit ears, hey, you know what? We can all be sensitive. I don't have a problem with that. Be sensitive. Like, it's okay. I don't like people talking about me either. I get it. That said, just man up about it too. Like, no, I don't like people talking about me. What'd you say? I'm gonna call you out for it. Okay, that's one thing. But do you remember the whole burner account? The Twitter burner account?
Yeah.
And all of that. Like, all of this adds into who
there's ways to handle that situation. You know what I'm saying? And
it adds into who this guy is, and he is mega sensitive. Like, there's the biggest KD fan should always admit the dude is sensitive. Mega sensitive. It's probably why him and Draymond Green didn't get along. Probably what it is. Is he more talented than Draymond Green? Of course.
Sure.
Absolutely.
No, sure.
Right.
And Draymond will tell you that himself. I mean,
is Draymond mentally tougher than KD? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, Draymond could argue is probably mentally tougher than a lot of people. So like Draymond's one of my kind of players. Because no, I wouldn't build a team around him. But he's the kind of guy that I absolutely want to have on my team. He's the guy you want in the foxhole. He's the guy you want in the dark alley. He's the guy he's going to show up.
He's the guy you want next to the star.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In hockey, you think hockey, like if you have Wayne Gretzky, because that's the last guy that
Sure.
I know nothing about hockey. I don't know why I went with the hockey analogy, but I'm going with it. I'm staying with it. That's the important thing. But if you have Wayne Gretzky, you need the goon. Yeah, that's your guy, right? Like the
way I look at it,
you need that guy next to him.
Yeah.
It's okay to go and take somebody out. Should be
absolutely.
If you touch Gretzky,
you think about it like this, and Draymond does it in different ways. But look how much better that second three-peat Bulls team was because they had Dennis Rodman on the team.
Oh, absolutely.
Versus even a Horace Grant. And I'm a Horace Grant fan. From what he was able, but he was also kind of a similar type of player because he kind of filled in a lot of gaps. He was like that glue guy, not as boisterous, but on the court he did a lot of that stuff. Pretty decent sized dude, didn't mind throwing an elbow on somebody, but he also had Cartwright with him. Sure. Draymond doesn't really have anybody else on the court that can be that. It's a
softer league.
The way the rules are set up, it is, but at the same time, he's that guy. He is 100% that guy.
Oh, absolutely.
And and I think in a similar way, Robin was kind of put in that position because kind of that second three-peat Bulls, their centers were a bit more skilled and maybe not quite as like a Cartwright type player, and so they weren't really goon players themselves. Their other power forward Kukoc sure as hell wasn't going to be. No, they weren't that. They weren't that. And so you definitely need to have that kind of thing. So I can totally see where a guy like Draymond coming in. But also like I think Draymond's got a point, and I think he's right. It's like, okay, great. I don't care how skilled you are, because I've got two guys in the backcourt that are about as skilled as it gets.
Yeah.
And Draymond's not going to question their dog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't have to.
He probably did early on
when they were formulating their relationship.
Sure. Fair enough.
Because that's yeah.
But fair enough, because he probably would, because again, no one's going to be quite as roughneck as Draymond is anyway. So there probably had to be a meeting of the minds there. But okay, you have KD coming on board, but let's back it up a little bit. You bring like an Iguodala coming in. He completely changed the way he played.
Yeah.
Completely reworked the way he played and became more of a defensive focused kind of one of those glue players, but was able to, you need a couple 3-pointers here and there. I can do that. You need someone to kind of be able to help play solid defense on somebody. I can do that.
You need to lock down the other team's best player. I'll go do that.
Completely changed up his game.
All of my energy into that. Yep. I won't score. I may get 10, maybe.
Again, 10. Like I said, an occasional I can be out there in the open because people are going to forget about me now, and then I can pop a 3 out because I'm there. Absolutely, no problem, But then, you've got like a guy like Draymond who's like that kind of, again, like I said, different league. He's able to pop some 3-pointers here and there, able to grab crazy rebounds, able to get the assists and things like that. But he's a guy who's doing everything. And then you come onto the court
with immense talent.
Absolutely.
But a prima donna.
Yep.
Prima donna. Like I don't use that term too loosely, but at this point, I think KD has shown over time, that is what he is.
The evidence is there. I think especially as he got older and time started to he kind of got a grasp on he needed to start to take the reins now. Got Mr. LeBron James in the thing, and
he wants to be LeBron. He doesn't like being second fiddle to LeBron. And honestly, the old adage, you are who you hang out with type of thing. You did choose right or wrong, I'm not knocking your friends. You're a grown man. You get to make any choice you want. You chose to leave Steph Curry. And okay, forget Draymond. Like, okay, you don't like somebody on your team. That's fine. You chose to leave Steph Curry, to leave Klay Thompson, to leave Steve Kerr, and hit your wagon to the crazy that is
Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, it's
not even just the Nets. No. He hooked his wagon to his friend, Kyrie Irving.
True. But yeah, you want to talk about 10 ways of Sunday crazy.
There's a specialness.
And you want to talk about
another guy that has shown a long-term. He couldn't get along with LeBron after he won a championship because he didn't feel he was getting the respect. Right or wrong, don't get me wrong. If you're on LeBron's team and you don't win a championship,
wait. Let's back up for a second. Just double checking. Did you ban Seth? Sis says he can't comment.
What? No. I thought about banning Sith. I wanted to ban Sith. I considered banning Sith, but quite frankly, I have no idea. And it was more of just us talking on there. No, I haven't.
No, he's on. I don't know. Ian's playing it off the whole time he was talking all that stuff. He was clicking on the button.
No, man. I had to turn my phone to the side. No, don't get me wrong. That's hilarious. First off, serves you right, punk. Anyhow, I'm not.
Oh, you had to turn the phone to the. That's weird.
That's so
okay.
Weird. I would love to
fix your YouTube.
I will say this. Like I told a director that I used to work with, who I could not stand, and all of her email got deleted when all the email in the company got jacked up and hers went down. I would love to take credit for this. I would love to, but I can't. It was not me. I would tell you if it was me, because so help me, I would love to.
Tommy in the corner. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I would like to take credit, but it wasn't me. Sorry. Yeah, I would love to take credit for that. Nah, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man? I always talk about banning you, but I won't actually do it. Sith is what for those of that are out there. Sith is actually one of our buddies. I like going back.
Yeah, he's old school. He's got to be approaching a year on Twitch. We'll probably be on Twitch this Saturday.
Yeah.
We're saying we've kind of got an itch to play a little Dark Age.
Okay, so
we have to do that on Saturday.
Jarrett,
I think.
I can't remember if were we on stream? I can't remember if we were on stream or not.
It was on stream last Saturday. That we should probably do a little hop back on or get back to our roots. I need to.
So you know what's funny? I don't see his chat in the chat window off to the side is delayed. All I see is Ian in that. But if I look at the actual stream itself at the bottom,
I see that. That's weird. I got the same problem. That's weird.
Okay, you do too. I thought it was just me. I was like, okay, I don't see it over.
YouTube, fix your YouTube, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting a list together from
maybe it's
testing.
Because it's curse word in it. Maybe they don't show it in the chat. Maybe we might have something turned on that's related to that.
So I have it set as not for kids, and I don't have anything. I don't know. Well, but hey, stream could see it.
You can see it in the stream, and that's all that matters. So
yeah, I got a list of stuff that I need to take a look at around some of this stuff with the way YouTube does some things. Yeah, there's some things that I really, really like.
Uniqueness.
Things that I really, really like, and I think they've done a good job with, but they need to fix some things. There's some things that they need to kind of, especially one thing I know that with The OBS update coming up, OBS 28. Big update.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a big one. That
One of the
has to do
things
with like the high def and everything like that. Go ahead.
Like, yeah, you'll be able to do HDR video and things like that. But more importantly, I'm hoping that like some of the YouTube integration might get a little bit better. One of the things he's saying for sure is that the YouTube, like inside of OBS, the YouTube chat, like right now, all you can do is see the chat. You don't get the text box to type in like you do on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
You will get that with 28, the update to 28. So,
okay.
Plus a bunch of stuff that they've added in. I mean, that's just a minor thing, but that was one of the things that like really kind of caught my eye because I was like, yeah, that's a pain in the ass. You can pull up the other thing and, you know, type into it all day. But yeah, that's funny that that didn't show like that. That's weird. It's still not showing up in like even like YouTube Studio or OBS, but fix your YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how nuts you are.
Yeah, no. Sith is definitely one of our elder statesmen as far as the channel everything goes. So yeah,
he's the head of top flight security for the Twitch stream and Discord.
And the best hype man in the business.
Best hype man in the business.
That's our chat with him. So it's good seeing you, man.
Okay, so a lot of this conversation, top flight Craig. One thing I've been thinking about this whole conversation is like, especially kind of looking at it from an owner's perspective.
Sure.
And like, okay, how do you mitigate stuff like this, right?
Right. I mean, because at this point, is that where you're at as an owner? Are you in the just mitigate the risk type of thing? I'm going the whole IT security thing here. Mitigate the risk, or are you really trying to do something more than that?
So my whole thing, Katie needed stuff. Katie needed the Warriors, period, because it was like a stable home.
That's why he went there.
It was a solid team. You know, he can get a lot of abstraction from a lot of, other than the talk about, okay, you need to go to the Warriors. And that's the other thing, is I think he let that talk get to him too much. You know, it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, you know, you can't knock his overall skill set. And yeah, okay, fine, he went to the Warriors, and with that crew he was able to put it together. But I think again, talk about how soft he is, I think he let that talk get to him way too much.
You mean that he was able to win a championship or two championships with a team that had won 73 games but didn't win the championship, so they're not the best team ever. But he was able to go to a team that won 73 games the year before and win 2 titles? Wow, that's really amazing and impressive. Is it though?
Okay, but see, that's the question is, do you let that talk get to you? Do you let that talk get to you? You know, that's the thing. It's like, it's
me
that's
personally, I would point out the fact, I would go, I'm sorry, I can't hear you because of all the glare on my hand.
Yeah, I'm getting distracted by, you know.
Look at this. I'm sorry, I'm holding this championship that I've also won. Did he win MVP, the finals MVP? Did he win finals MVP twice? Or was it once?
I don't remember. But I mean, he's never been in the finals from anybody else, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, you know,
he had the chance. Up 3, weren't they up 3-1? Was he not up 3-1 versus those Warriors of 73 wins and all of that? Wasn't he up 3-1?
Yeah.
You can't win one game.
Yeah.
In 3 chances.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in LeBron's shadow. Fine. Nobody wants to be in LeBron's shadow. No one wants to be in anybody's shadow, right? That's human. Fair enough. You can't win one game that you go score 60. You know, or whatever. it is needed. One, LeBron did. Steph has. Heck, you can go a lot deeper than that. Russ probably has. I'm not even going to, I would like to knock him, but Russ has probably won a playoff game by himself.
Sure.
Jason Tatum,
sure,
probably won a playoff game by himself. I don't keep up with the Celtics nearly so much, so I couldn't swear to that.
I would say, I would say more like Jason Brown more than Tatum. But yeah, I mean, like that combo there, they can definitely between the two of them. But I'd say like I'd probably put it more on like Butler for sure. Butler for sure
has won games by himself. You see what I'm saying though? Like you want to be. I'm not knocking the want to be above LeBron. I'm not knocking that.
Right.
Absolutely. If I had KD's talent, I would want people to give me credit too. I would want credit for all of my titles. I'd want credit for my scoring titles. I'd want credit for my abilities and stuff like that on the court. Absolutely. No problem whatsoever. But LeBron got to where he is. And goodness, this is going into a weird spot. I'm defending LeBron. But LeBron's gotten to where he is by showing up and fighting to get to that spot.
Yeah.
You want to knock him off the top of the mountain? That means you got to knock him off the top of the mountain and do all the things that he's done.
And
so,
I mean, and again, I think this speaks to kind of some of the culmination of the issue that the NBA is running into right now. But the fact still remains was that it is a different league than what these kids playing right now grew up with. So because of the CBA, because of a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, is kind of causing more of the issues right now.
Right.
It really is difficult to, okay, you can win a playoff game by yourself, but you're not getting a ring by yourself. And it's not even about, you have the right team around you. No, like you need some people that you can point to and really say like they're on a level at least right with me or damn close, and to be able to go in and get it done right now. And I'm not saying it's right, but that's really what it's looking like right now.
But KD's career has shown he's not that guy.
No.
And that was 26, 7, 8, 9-year-old KD.
Right.
Not 34, 5, 6, 7-year-old KD.
Right.
Coming off an Achilles injury, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. So back to I was talking about kind of the mitigation side of things. And you asked me like if I was an owner and what, I'm not talking about like what would fly yet, more like what I would come into the negotiations with as far as like what my quote unquote demands would be. I think there should be a certain level of performance attached to some of these big dollar contracts, in the sense that if I'm going to be shelling out all this money to you over 5 years, after about 2 to 3, there's going to be an evaluation, like deep rooted, and maybe even like year to year, with allowances for I don't want to be the NFL. More around like, all right, look, I'm going to give allowances for injuries that you got either on the court or during practice or workouts with the team. I'm not talking about you falling off your damn motor-powered unicycle while you were drunk on the 4th of July, or blowing up your hand with a bottle rocket, or whatever the hell happens Like,
leave JPP alone.
I'm not talking about that. He still played and still like that. So
Yeah,
you know,
hey,
hey,
got a
fine.
Super Bowl ring. So
He still played and did his. So hey, more power to him. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm not talking about you saying, oh, you can't play because you got hurt moving a dresser for your mama. I'm talking about like, sure.
No. The best one is oh shoot, what was his name? Played for the Bulls forever too. Shoot, Boozer, Carlos Boozer.
Oh yeah.
Hurt himself walking down steps in his house. Was out for like several months. That's easily the best injury ever. Anyhow,
see, for me, that'd be so. I mean, but just like kind of looking at it, like, all right, look. But especially if I'm putting all this money together, let's say I am the owner and I worked with you, and it's like, okay, fine, I will take your thoughts into consideration about who you want to have on this team, who you want to have coaching this team, all this stuff. But guess what?
Having that good relationship is important. Right?
Sure,
like
sure.
Any ownership,
but
even management.
Yeah. But you got to perform, man. And it's especially like to a certain extent, like where certain concessions are being made, your ass better get it done. And I'm looking at bare minimum deep playoff runs. And then we can kind of start to talk about what we need to do to maybe get you over the hump. Fair enough. But like, I'm looking for something that I can sit there and point to say, what's my return on investment? A lot of NBA teams, outside of maybe the butts that they're getting in the seats, things like that. Okay, fair enough. But again, owning a sports team, there's different metrics you're looking at. You're looking at both, okay, the money that you're able to make, plus you're also looking at the actual success on the court, on the field, on the diamond, whatever. It really kind of boils down, because you talk about like legacy. Think about like just kind of the culture of the team, and ultimately, why am I owning a basketball team when there's so many other businesses I can go into to make money?
Absolutely.
There's another level. There's another thing I'm going after, and that's being able to bring championships to this city. And like, why am I, like, why am I spending all this money? And then also, especially to a point where the kind of money to the point where I'm crippling myself to turn around and pay you that much. That's okay, fine, play ball. I'll give up the picks, do whatever I need to do to get you in. But as we're looking at that contract, bro, we got to talk about, like, okay, I've spent this money now. And if you don't get it done, if you don't get certain things done to a reasonable point of view, I might not, next thing you know, don't be surprised if you make half that next year.
KD has, again, I don't know. It goes back to you've allowed him to have power. Not you.
No, but yeah, the owner, yeah.
The ownership has still just allowed him to have too much power. And the funny thing about this whole thing is, okay, again, I'm a Bulls fan. I normally hate ownership. I despise ownership. See all of the Bulls, championship years where they were fighting ownership, and they're cheap owners, and I mean owners and GMs, front office.
Right.
And then that was during the championship years, and then I was going to curse there, lack of talented front office people over the last 10 to 15 years. John Paxson indirectly, but mainly Gar Forman. Waste of air and space right there, that dude. Normally I'm on the side of the player. Like, I go get your money, go get all the money you can get, go get all the power you can get, etc., right? In this case, though, again, we kind of keep circling back. He's gotten too much power, and this is what it's led to.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons has had too much power. Have we gotten to the point that the players have too much power? Like, we're about to jump. This is a big jump. Have we gotten to the point where the players have too much power?
I mean, personally, I think we've been really kind of talking about it, and we've really spoken to it, but we've pretty much been saying it without saying it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It either, you know, directly is kind of part of a point, or indirectly the whole stream. Really boils down to yes. And while you were talking, I was thinking about, because you're talking about like players getting their money and everything like that, and I agree with that as well. I almost kind of look at it like, okay, look at like, because I see and deal with and talk to what I would consider a lot of like high-end salespeople. They're dealing with multi-million-dollar potential contracts. They're dealing with like big money, potential money to revenue to bring into the company. And they make a base salary that's pretty solid, but their houses in Boca Raton are bought through their commissions.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's something similar to that. Now, but then you also have people that are just on an annual salary. And then you have people that might be kind of in between that, where they have like an annual salary, and then again, depending on what happens and how things go and performance and stuff like that, they'll have like bonus structures put in place. Okay, fine. But it's like, when you're dealing with the people that are dealing with like the bonus structures and like the people that are dealing with like the commission structures and stuff like that, they have okay, base level, they can make pretty dang good money. They have the potential to make a shitload of money. But here's the other thing. If they're not putting in the output to turn around and make that shitload of money in the first place, they're not there long.
Yeah.
They are not there long. And it's not about like, oh, okay, we're able to trade off your salary to another team, blah, 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 blah. No, it's like, you're gone. You're basic.
Right. Yeah,
bye.
you're basic.
You know,
Next.
You got to kind of think about it. You got to almost think about the contract structures for, say, like some of these players. It's like, okay, you're a Tobias Harris. Okay, you're probably going to be more in like kind of like that salary plus a bonus structure. If you're just like coming off the bench, then you're probably just kind of coming off just a base salary kind of thing. If you're Kevin Durant, your ass better be on commissions. And guess what, son? If you don't get the commissions, you'll eat. But you might even be making less than the guy who's like coming off with the salary and the bonuses, because he was. But the other thing is like the expectations aren't that high.
Right.
It's just it's just that simple.
Like Scottie Pippen back in the day. Scottie Pippen made, I think he was the 7th most.
The way they did Scottie dirty with that whole thing. They just did Scottie dirty.
Yeah, I understand a little bit of what Scotty's going through now. There's a lot of animosity. Anyhow, I tell you what, let's do a quick break, and then when we come back, let's talk about. So we talked about kind of how things have gotten to where they are, who's right or wrong, that type of thing. Let's talk about some possible trade destinations.
Sure.
Andy,
what could actually work?
What could actually work? I'll take the side of I guess the other team. I'll let you take the side.
Well, and more, you understand, you pay more attention to kind of some of the salary caps and stuff like that with the NBA too. I don't pay as much attention. I guess I look at it more from like the coach side of it, I guess.
Right.
Right, yeah. I was kind of looking maybe from like the owner and stuff like that, but
office type of thing.
You're talking about like me as an owner, but like, yeah, I'm more like a coach. I'm more of an X's and O's guy. Mm-hmm. And so I might be able to speak more towards just fit. as opposed to kind of that.
I'll tell you what, why don't you play the... Okay, Ian came up with some crazy trade. You need to offset it. Like, basically be the yin to yang thing.
Sure,
I will play the team that is coming to you as the owner.
Right.
And try to talk you into it.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah, take a quick little break, take pause for the cause, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll be right back, folks. And go ahead and type in what topic you're asking about, Sith.
Yeah, for sure.
Because depending on either quickly or as well or poorly as this potential scenario goes, we might be able to pivot to something else anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say this could be really quick. I will say, just as a little bit of teaser, I'm gonna start with the Miami Heat. So,
okay, that's an interesting one. Okay,
a little spicy there.
Absolutely. It always gets spicy in Miami, baby. That's the only way it goes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. right, welcome back, everybody. Took a quick little break.
Little pause for the calls.
We don't want to crossing the streams, man, because that never goes well.
Different kind of stream.
So okay, first of all, look at it. Sid, talking about I would do some research, depending on what you know. Previewing the undefeated champ Israel as Adesanya and his rematch with Alex Pereira. I believe that's how you say it. Who just came. I have a loose, like, kind of just in the sense that I know I saw highlights of that fight. I didn't actually see the fight itself. I gotta admit, I have not followed mixed martial arts as much as I used to back in the day.
I'd be okay. You know, I was gonna say, me either, by any stretch of the imagination. I'd be okay chatting about it though, for sure. Yeah, it's something we'll have to.
Because he's undefeated since being in the UFC, aside from a loss, moving up to light heavyweight. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, changing weights can get tricky.
For sure.
You know, there's definitely folks that do it, but some of it, especially like some of the guys that like will like drop down weight classes, it's like, damn, man.
That's
even would tougher.
See, going up, I mean, either direction is bad or not bad. Either direction can bring its own kind of share of issues. Yeah. I would think dropping down would be harder. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what style of fighter you are, and kind of like your natural build and things like that, and how far off you are kind of naturally. So maybe you bumping up a little bit to get you up, be kind of like in the middle, and like you can bump up a little bit to get you to one class, or maybe you can drop down enough to get into another. I would say, especially like bumping up, you know, and if you're really kind of relying more on kind of like speed and movement, depending on where your muscles
total hits and
develop and things like that, like okay, you like even like your footwork's got to slow down at least a little bit, and like you might have more power in that jab, but it's not hitting them.
Well, it's also on the other side of it too, right?
Right.
Like,
you know,
it's one thing I'm used to getting hit by a guy that is also relying on speed and things like that. Oh, first time I get up to heavyweight and somebody hits me, like, oh wait,
dent the door of a Mack truck with
Mike
this.
Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. I always like mixed martial arts and stuff like that. It's just, like I said, I just haven't been following it as closely.
Man. Yeah,
but
shoot us something. I'll definitely be into it. Yeah, for sure.
Get you on as like a guest.
Exactly what I was thinking.
You know,
exactly what I was thinking.
Guest to us, so we can kind of help speak to a little bit more.
The expert.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, back to this whole how the hell do we fix basketball in one night?
Yeah, pretty much.
Conversation, we can or at least this whole Kevin Durant situation.
We can just put an end to this right now. I don't understand why we're still going on about it. We could easily just.
All them fools making all that money and they can't figure this shit out, man. What the hell's going on?
What is happening? Just hire me. Hire me and Jarrett. We'll get this handled. No problem. Jarrett, let Jarrett run the Nets and let me run all the rest of the NBA. So I gotta tell you, there's gonna be a lot of trades coming from the Chicago Bulls. A lot of trades. So many trades.
Oh, what you got? Okay, Sis says he's got a spot.
Nothing great. You should definitely,
Sis says he got two spots for KD. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear what you're talking about there, buddy. Before we jump into all this madness,
for sure. No, absolutely.
You might even already call a couple Ians. We already know Ian's gonna throw Miami at me.
Miami for sure. I think the Bobcats. Hornets. It's the Hornets, man. It's the Hornets now. Remember, they went back. They circled all the way around. They're back to being the Hornets.
Actually, I mean, to go with LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo's not bad. LaMelo's not a bad player.
So let's take a look. I tell you what. Let me pull this down and remember.
So this is the thing. It's kind of more of like, yeah, it would be a good fit versus like, what can a team actually do financially?
Offer? What can they offer? Right?
Yeah, and because that's what I don't know.
The biggest issue with KD, he doesn't want to go to a team that you've had to gut the whole team, right?
Right.
Draft picks, players, etc., and it's like, yay, I'm here. Why are there tumbleweeds?
How many teams are there that can like legitimately do it?
No one else here. It's just
I'm not sure there's a lot of teams out there that could conceivably do it without.
Right? I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know. So let's take a look. Let's take a quick look at the Charlotte Hornets. So the biggest thing, KD's incoming salary is going to be $44 million. So right off the top, you have to match that salary. Forget players and talent. Forget that for a minute.
Sure.
So right off the top, Gordon Hayward would have to head back, right?
Johnny Haircut.
Is making Johnny Haircut. Johnny Haircut.
Deep cuts.
So Johnny Haircut is the one that makes the most money on that team, currently at $30 million.
That's just sad that he makes that much money.
$30 million.
For a time like early on in our streaming days, he was kind of the unofficial mascot of the podcast. And okay. So
$30 million. All right, so right off
anyway,
the top.
Right.
What does that add to the Brooklyn Nets? Nothing. That's what it adds.
They already have a Gordon Hayward and Harris.
Dump. That is a salary dump, right?
They basically already have Gordon. They actually have a better Gordon Hayward and Harris.
That's a perfect example. Wahoo wah. I mean, Joe Harris. That's right. Absolutely. The next guy on the team that makes the most money, the Hornets are a weird team as far as salary cap. It's not a bad salary cap. It's just a weird salary cap. And that's not mentioning that guy named Miles Bridges, who has a $16 million cap hole, but might not play in the NBA for a long time.
Right.
So the next guy on the team that makes a decent amount of money, one of these two guys have to go. Like, they have to go. Would be Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is making 21. Okay. I think you have to send Gordon Hayward. I think there's no question the guy that you have to send is Gordon Hayward. But he is only cap filler. Cap filler.
Sure.
Point,
yeah.
So now what are we talking? We're talking talent. We need talent and draft picks and stuff. Guys like JT Thor, Mark Williams, these are young, talented big men. Mark Williams out of Duke with his $3.7 million contract. Throw him in. I think you almost probably have to throw in a PJ Washington. Basically, you're going to have to throw in all of the talent not named LaMelo.
Right.
Otherwise, what's the point? So if I throw in Mark Williams, was one of the number one draft picks for them. I think it was 15. I may have that wrong. I can't swear to that. And PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward. The money works.
Right. But I'm coming back as the Nets
and be what the
right. The only thing I can think of from the Nets point of view that makes sense to me with that trade is, okay, fine, the money works out flat.
Sure.
Okay. Now, can I maybe play some like 3D, 4D chess with what I can maybe do around with, so am I locked in with, say, Ben Simmons? Am I unable to move him, period? I mean, I know there's like as far as like trades, like trading and stuff like that.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, like who on the Nets can I move and who I can't? And yeah,
you can absolutely move Ben Simmons anytime. You can trade him away, and in fact, trading him away might help you get some bigger fish, and that's where I was going to start.
That's kind of what I'm. That's with
the Miami Heat,
and that's kind of what I was thinking about. But yeah, go ahead and let's touch on this whole Ben Simmons weirdness, because
let me hit this dynamic. It doesn't come into play. It does not come into play when it comes to the Hornets. So let me just table that. I was going to start with the Miami Heat, right? Because that's sort of the rumor, and specifically with the Miami Heat, there's a player named Bam. Bam, out of Bayou or out of the Bayou, depending on who you're talking to.
Born on the Bayou.
Yeah, Bam out of the Bayou. So Bam cannot be traded to a team, to the Nets, because they have Ben Simmons. It is easily one of the weirdest rules that I've ever come across as far as
it's not quite a rule. It's just a weird culmination of things that just lined up just right.
They cannot
be on the same team.
Yeah, they cannot be on the same team. So here's the rule. The rule is that they have signed a player that has signed a designated rookie max extension worth 25 to 30% of the salary cap, and neither of those players being signed with Brooklyn. So Ben Simmons obviously signed his big extension off of his rookie contract that was worth 25 to 30 million dollars, or 30% of the salary cap. He signed that with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right.
And then the Nets traded for him. So he is on their team, but he didn't sign that contract with them. This is where the weirdness comes in. The collective bargaining agreement states, and I'm reading this straight off of the wording as far as
it's your best option.
Yeah. So the collective bargaining agreement states that a team may have up to 2 designated rookies and 2 designated veterans on their team in any one season. But, and here's the catch, only one of those designated rookies can be have been acquired via trade. They've already made the trade for Ben Simmons. So they cannot trade for anyone else that falls into that category. Okay?
So let me...
So, go ahead.
What I was going to ask is, so what we're saying is that Bam and Ben Simmons can't play together on the Nets.
Cannot play together on the Nets.
Could they possibly play?
Or any other team that's not the 76ers, quite frankly.
Oh, because of the way... Okay, that's what's so weird. So actually,
to be fair, that's not the 76ers or the Miami Heat. So, because the Miami Heat signed Bam on their team, then they could trade for Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Since the 76ers, though I'll be honest with you, I wonder if because they've already traded him, I don't know if that changes.
That might be some weird.
Like there's a little weirdness. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea.
You're reading what you can read, and then there's always some little fine print shit that comes into play there.
And then they get them back, would that work? Okay, so they're not getting them back. 76ers want no part of Ben Simmons. But if they did get Ben Simmons back, possibly then they could trade for someone else who fell into that category. Like a Ben Simmons, like a Donovan Mitchell.
It's just a weird culmination of events that just kind of hit this rule just the right way.
Sure. So, but it does affect 2 teams that would legitimately be involved in this type of trade.
So Bam's out. Bam, like a whole let's simplify it right now. Let's simplify it right now.
Right,
if we're talking about Miami and the Nets, Ben has to stay Bam has to stay.
Well,
what's left?
Ben doesn't. Ben. Okay, actually, okay. So, Bam and Ben.
I know.
Yeah. So, Bam and Ben can both be traded. The funny thing is, we haven't mentioned Kevin Durant, and he's actually the player that's.
Well, just trying to figure out. Well, this is the thing. You got to figure it. There's so much of a rumble you got to figure out to be able to maneuver things right, to be able to turn around. Like, could you trade them for each other?
Team.
Yeah, exactly. Team. You'd have to have a third team in the play.
There's your magic.
And that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was asking, can I move Ben Simmons? Because when you're talking about Charlotte, I was thinking there had to be a third team involved. You know,
I've got an idea.
Okay. In fact, my audio is where it should be. Yes, it is. All right, we're gonna give this a shot. Completely off the fly here.
I was gonna say this is.
I am editing scenes on the fly. My ugly mug might be blocking some things, but we'll make it work. Okay. We will just do this. Okay. We should be good. They should be able to see your screen.
They should see stuff. Okay. All right. So. It is a weird. So the Nets, the natural trade, right? Okay, KD and Bam. Can't do that. You can't do that trade.
Okay.
Forget the money for a minute. Like, we'll get to the money in a little bit. 44 million plus versus 30 million. Forget the money. We're talking player, talent for talent type of deal.
Right, that's the other thing, right? Because you got to be able to actually play these jokers together, and do something with these fools, and come up with a team that's at least viable. Especially with like the way like the whole like discussions around like the whole tanking situation is supposed to work out. So that whole thing,
it does not do the net. Normally in this situation, what do you do as a team? Okay, cut my losses, get as many first round draft picks, and tank, right? Like that's kind of the deal. Except never forget, the Nets don't own any of their picks until 2028.
That's the other thing. That's the big thing. And again, this kind of goes down to that whole Russian owner and
it was after that.
But there's a comedy of errors going on with the Nets that actually does like root back from like way back.
They seem to keep making the same mistake even across owners.
Well, the reason why is because the prior ownership put the team in a position that the new ownership couldn't just magically fix with money.
Well,
you know,
the new ownership, yes. Except it's weird. We're like switching roles. Now I'm the one like, no, Jarrett, actually.
No, feel free, but it seems
like we're weirdly switching roles here. If anybody that's watched the stream for a while, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's just kind of funny. It's actually the new ownership that has made this. This is on them.
It's really made this really screwed up.
It's like all on them. It's all related to the.
Because I know I'm not completely speaking out of school, because I know that there's been like enough bad mistakes to where then you've had like you kind of
the same mistake again.
Oh, good God. Okay. Unrelated to the crap that they were already like.
Same one.
Good.
Right here.
This kind of goes back to like something about like I can't remember, we talked about this pre-stream or on stream about teams that just have a stank on them.
They're making the same mistake have made the same mistake.
All right.
Remember, they don't control any of their draft picks until 2028 because of the not Ben. Well, I have to actually look at the Ben Simmons trade and see what they actually got back. They may have gotten some picks because of that, but it's because of the James Harden trade.
Oh,
the James Harden trade is the one you. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
right.
The James Harden trade. Remember, they don't control any of
they don't
their
control
picks.
any of the picks because of that specifically.
Because of this magicness right here. And I think you can see
well,
it on
and to be
stream,
fair,
I apologize.
Yeah.
But because they traded to go get James Harden, which was Kevin Durant's guy, like, hey, yeah, go get James, right? Because of that, they traded, okay, the Bucks first round pick, that's not their pick, whatever. Screw that, that's out. But the Nets themselves, their picks were 2022, 2024, and 2026, all unprotected. Unprotected means I don't care if it's 1 or 30, it's going to.
You can't do jack about it. Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Gone.
Okay.
It's going to Houston. And then, oh yeah, to make it even more fun, they also gave unlimited swaps. So let's say Houston is picked, because so there's a rule in the NBA, you can't trade back-to-back first-round picks, and that's to protect owners from themselves, right?
Right.
So that's you can't, if it's 2020 and I traded that pick, I can't trade pick 2021. I can trade 2022, I can trade 2024, but I can't trade any of the odd numbers. So hopefully that made sense what I said. But and here's the workaround, I can give what's called a pick swap, which means that if I have a higher pick than you can trade picks with me and there's nothing I can do about it. Which means if I am picking 30 and you happen to get the number 1 pick, guess what? That's mine. I control it. I swap with you. You get the 30th pick, so it's not like you don't have a first round pick, but well, you have the 30th and I took the 1. Thank you. That type of thing. So they don't have any of their picks. They made the trade. Again, this is all for the James Harden thing. 2021, 2023, 2025. Oh yeah, and 2027. All unprotected. So that means that the Nets do not control any of their picks from 2021 to 2027.
So remind me.
Thank you, Houston.
Remind me here.
Mm-hmm.
Was this trade more out of Harden's own bullshit, or was this in kind of maybe potentially driven by KD?
This is both.
Okay.
Do you
because
think for
I know because like listen, I know KD, Harden's a special kind of crazy, only topped by Kyrie and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And
maybe KD now. KD might be in the runnings. Gotta tell you.
I'm just gonna leave KD out of this for a second because this is like a different, like this is how bad it is. This is a completely different level of crazy. You're talking about, so you've got Harden, who's a level of crazy. Like I said, that can only be topped by Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. What do? You trade Ben Harden and your entire future for Ben Simmons and put both him and Kyrie on the same damn team and just give up the farm for it.
Yes.
You know what?
You remember how I was talking about power going from one person to another, or one entity to another?
This is the thing. I still want to go through the exercise because now I'm just more interested just intellectually.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Here's what I'm going to say about this.
Right.
I'm kind of past the point of giving a shit because you can only help those that will help themselves.
Yeah, at some point, man, it's just on you. Man, it's just.
This is a series of it's not me, it's you, honey. Like you've completely, you have like. Wait a minute. Let me look this up over here. Let me pull this out right here. Because okay. basically what it is. We're talking about like the hot versus crazy.
Yes, where's
thing.
the scale?
But like
Hot versus crazy.
remember,
You know,
you
hot
have
is this way, crazy is
hot's
this way, or
this
vice
way.
versa.
Like it's hot up, crazy across, and then you have what is known as the Mendoza line.
Yeah, absolutely.
That just goes across.
And this is in this particular case, you know, we both do. So we'll do the hot crazy girl thing, right? Like that's the crazy hot is the, you know, this way, crazy is this way, and you know, you have to, the Mendoza line is that one that kind of comes right through here. So think of a chart.
You don't want anybody
if she's
below
hot, if
the
she's
Mendoza
hot,
line. Yeah.
You can deal with some crazy.
Yeah.
You can deal with a lot of crazy. The hotter she is, the crazier she can be. But
there have been some girls I've met in Taiwan that have tested that, but other than that, yes.
Right.
You definitely lean more towards hot and crazy.
It works the other way too, you know.
Hey, not judging, but but seriously, you are dealing with, like, this is the biggest thing is, for me, I never really, from the Nets perspective, never understood what they thought they were getting out of Ben Simmons. Now, from a basketball perspective, I remember talking about it just from an X's and O's perspective, that, hey, you know what? We might be able to do something, change a pace, might be able to situate it to where then you let Kyrie be more of a scoring guard and allow Simmons to be more of that point forward. I think right now a lot of times they were slotting him more in the power forward role. Okay, fair. From an X's and O's perspective, I can see that. But they've got to be in a position where both of them have got to be locked in. Like, as soon as one of them is sitting in the corner of the locker room staring at their locker, which doesn't have their gear, has nothing but like plastic baby dolls hanging by their hair with the eyes gouged out, you've wasted your money.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sorry. By the way, you only can get one of those guys for half the games anyway.
I think that's not a thing anymore.
Not as much anymore, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, everybody else in the team, regardless of probably what they thought about it or not, was like, I'm going.
So KD.
Let's talk. Okay,
I mean, this is the issue. That's why the Nets front office and ownership is very culpable.
Yeah.
Throughout all this, like, as much as I've sided with them, like, oh boy, that is a terrible situation to be in. They put their dumb selves in this situation. Like,
but how much of it is because the way things are constituted right now, they almost feel like they have to, and they're making bad decisions because they're just they're making bad decisions because they're like not quite able to effective. I agree. At some point, you got to put it on them, and I'm not completely separating them from their culpability here, but also like
how messy is all this because of what you're about to say?
Stupid situations make people do stupid things.
Right.
And if you're put in a position where you can't do anything logical, then you end up
used to not doing things logical. The world is crazy.
You end up throwing away your future and James Harden, regardless of how crazy he is. He actually is a fairly skilled player, for a 6'10" point guard that can't shoot
at all,
and is also
by the way,
another magnitude of crazy.
It's not like you had James Harden to begin with.
Right.
Again, this goes back to KD. Why do you have James Harden? Why did you trade picks 21 through 27, why did you trade away the control of your picks from 21 to 27? Why did you trade those away? It's KD. KD said, hey, go get this guy. This is my boy. Go get him. There's no way they make that trade. Forget Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not there at this point.
Right.
This is KD, Crazy, and James Harden. Kyrie. You decided to hitch your cart to those three players. You chose, and I'm not knocking it. That is a heck of a 2K team. But that's what it is. You chose to play 2K and try to put it on the basketball court.
Right.
And do by any means necessary to go get it. Because KD said, because at the end of the day, KD is the star of those players, right?
Oh, sure.
He's
I think James Harden has the potential,
but KD's the alpha.
Yeah.
Right. Because James Harden wasn't there. It was KD said, hey, way back. I'm back in
you're going okay.
Yeah.
Way back. Yeah.
So 2019, KD is a free agent. Kyrie is a free agent, et cetera, et cetera. And KD says, hey, I will show up in Brooklyn. I won't play for a year, but I'm going to come to Brooklyn and I will sign with you. You need to bring my boy Kyrie with me. Hey, Kyrie's not a bad player. Absolutely. He's a star too. Boom. We're right there. Oh, hey, you know what? 2 years later. Go get my boy James Harden too. He wants out of Houston. Go get him. Trade whatever you gotta get.
300-pound Harden.
Yeah. Well, the fat suit. I do like that. I think that's hilarious.
It is funny.
It's easily one of the funniest things to me. That is such a wrestling. Okay, we talk about wrestling on here a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't that a wrestling thing? Like some of this has got some wrestling.
Oh, totally.
Heel faking people out. It's got some of that in it. It's got a lot of that in it.
Anyway,
go get my boy James Harden.
That's a whole nother thing where I was talking about. You got to put it more on like a freaking commission side of things. Oh, okay. Your ass wants to gain 80 pounds. So you think I'm gonna dump your ass? Guess what?
Sit down.
And basically work it out to where it's like, okay, the money you think you're gonna get ain't nothing like what you're actually gonna get.
No.
Anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
But again, so that's from the Nets. Quite frankly, Houston came out pretty good on this. So I'm not.
Sure.
Good job for Houston. So that go get my boy James Harden, bring him in. So they do. James Harden about halfway through the season is like, yeah, y'all are crazy. I'm out of here. I want to go hook up with my boy, my GM, my favorite GM ever, Morey.
Dan.
First name, but you know what I'm talking
Daniel
about.
Morey, whatever.
76ers, Daryl.
Daryl, that's it.
Yeah, is that it?
Yep.
Let me go get my boy. I need to get out of here. Y'all are all nuts. Boom. So he goes. They bring even more crazy in, bring in Ben Simmons, who doesn't play he didn't play at all this season, right? Did I miss something? He didn't
I don't
play
think
a game,
so.
right?
I think maybe a little. Like I think not much, not enough to count for anything.
Right. So he was gone, and then at the end of the season, after signing, he's about to start his 4-year deal. KD says, "Okay, I want out." I had no way. The Nets gave him all the power, and then he acted like a 3-year-old with it. Is kind of where that's the short of what I'm saying. But we're talking about trade. So what do you do, right? So the Nets in Miami. He wants to go to Miami. That's one of the teams he named. He wants to go to Miami.
He's going to take
weird
his
rule with Bam.
He's going to take his talents to South Beach.
Right, exactly. Taking his talents to South Beach. Somebody else said that. I forgot.
It's 2010 all over again.
All over again. There we are. That's it.
Okay, so to Miami.
The natural person, the most talented person, not named Jimmy Butler, on that team from Miami, who would you want as the Nets?
I can't get Bam, so.
But I'm saying, so Bam is your guy, right?
Bam's the guy you'd want. Yeah.
Can't get Bam.
Right.
Directly.
Right.
So, you probably need a third team in here, right? And I think you can still see my screen. So let's see. Third team. There's another team, probably in the East, that seems to be trying to reboot it all. I'm going to bring in the Indiana Pacers.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
All right, so Kevin Durant to Miami. That's without question, right?
Right.
Bam has to leave. He's got to go to Indiana because he can't come to Brooklyn. What do you think? Let's see if we could do Miles Turner.
That would be my first. That would be it has to start there.
That's the natural guy to kind of start talking about.
Yeah.
Now, for money reasons, we gotta send Duncan Robinson and his $16 million. The $44 million is hard to come by. Like that is a hard number to get around. However you get around it, it's hard to come by, or it's hard to get around. So Duncan Robinson and his 16, Miles Turner and his 18. Is that enough talent for KD? Maybe. Is Bam going to Indiana enough money to go there? There's one more guy. I think I'm picking your. You know what? Let me let you answer. Is that enough talent to make it work? You're getting Duncan Robinson, Miles Turner, and let's say 2 draft picks from Miami.
Sure. See, I'm more looking at it from, because again, I think first of all, just unloading that Joker.
There's something to be said for that.
I'm more even looking at it. See, I think that from the Miami Heat, I'm happy. For the Miami Heat, I'm happy. Right?
If you're Miami, you got what you wanted, right?
I think that I'm more looking at it from the Pacers' point of view.
Sure. So let me,
because I'm paying. I'm already. See, the thing is, I'm taking on a $30 million contract for 18.
A multi-year $30 million.
Yeah, that's the only trick.
Miles Turner, who is out at he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah. So I might as well get something for him. But I guess to get the money work. Does the money work on? Okay, it's saying it's valid because the money, like, you can pick up that trade for what you dropped off there to get. Okay. Yes. So you've got enough space to be able to make that work. I mean, really, so looking at, okay, so fair. Okay, fine enough. I'm happy enough from the Pacers side of things.
Are you, or do you want to pick?
Well,
I've gone back and forth on this feeling.
So
or perhaps maybe not a pick, but perhaps another player.
But do I have the space? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. I'll go incoming cap.
There is a guy named Tyler Hero.
So what would that look like for the Pacers? So, okay, fair enough. That works for the Pacers.
Now, here's my question. And
Okay.
I'm kind of playing back and forth for a reason, because you're kind of floating between two teams. So let me float between a couple as well. Yes, the Pacers, of course, want Tyler Hero. But is Duncan Robinson, Miles Turner, and a couple of draft picks, first rounders, unprotected, let's go, is that enough? Or do they want Tyler Hero? See, because he works that way too. This is one of the ones that I found the most interesting.
Now, I would still say from the Pacers' perspective, because assuming I'm unloading some picks as well, somewhere to Miami.
Miami's sending picks. Miami is sending picks to the Nets. Let's say two. Let's say they send 2 first rounders to Brooklyn in this deal that is on the screen right now. So Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Miles Turner, and 2 first round picks go to the Brooklyn Nets for KD. The Indiana Pacers also get a pick, and bam.
And then Miami just gets
From
Durant.
Miami, they get Durant. And 3 draft picks go out, plus Tyler Hero, plus Duncan Robinson. Though the last one's less.
For a 30-plus-year-old KD.
Right. 34-year-old KD.
That's probably where... This is a situation where you are really putting value into, like, you better win yesterday.
The next 2 years.
Yeah.
You need to win this year and next.
You're
those years.
Again, you want to talk about unloading your future.
You have put all of your future into a not young Jimmy Butler, a not young Kyle Lowry, a not young KD. And again, and I'm talking about the not just from the picks, but you're looking at Hero and Robinson, who are 2 young talent.
Young, very solid talent. Guys that you could potentially build a team with, not necessarily around, but build a team with, even as, say, your Butlers and they age out. You've got some talent that you can do something with.
I will say that about Hero. I don't feel the same about Duncan Robinson at $17 million.
Sure. Well, yeah.
And he didn't play. He got played off the court most of his time. To be honest with you,
you think that'd be flipped?
You would, except Duncan Robinson is older. That's the only reason. Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of looking more as a pair, not like.
Sure. No.
Because
I'm with you. I'm just kind of pointing out.
Not individually. I mean, right. I mean, individually, okay, fair enough. But just losing both of them, it's kind of like, okay, to get KD, I would take a Walmart discount version of him and Robinson. You see what I mean?
Sure.
Keep that. But at the same time, right now, if my goal 100% is to, so let's look about this from a team setup here. You're gonna have KD at the 4, Butler at the 3. You don't have Bam anymore, so you're playing Deadman.
Let's be real. You're small.
And then of course Lowry at the 1. Oladipo really hasn't been doing very much right now.
Unfortunately, you can't trade him until at least 115.
So I'm looking at a Max Strus.
Who?
On Miami, Max Strus. You're only shooting guard. I mean, maybe might be able to go really small. Maybe one of the point guards might be able to be a solid combo. I know Caleb Martin's kind of a swing guy.
Ageless wonder, Haslam. He's been there for 50 years.
I'm talking about the shooting
like
guards,
60
though.
or 65. I think he can retire like with Medicare at this point. So
I'm just talking about like what I'm losing in, like, because you got Robinson who can kind of be a swing. To be honest, Hero could play swing in a small ball situation. You've got KD that is more of he's a forward. He's a corner man. He plays that small forward, power forward situation.
He's a wing.
So I'm kind of
Jimmy's a wing. So you do have your wings lined up, like shooting guard, small forward, or small forward, power forward, whatever you want to go with.
But the problem is that, especially like I'm just looking at it from Miami's standpoint, the big issue I would have, and I don't know if there's really any way to fix it, is like you are taking like three, at least like two solid players, and then one guy that can at least you can mix into the starting lineup, or at least have maybe some decent minutes with him off the bench for basically and the other thing is this. So looking at the rest of the team as it's constituted, assuming they, because again, the thing is like, I still think they would also, like, from Brooklyn's side of things, I would look to offload Irving too if I could.
You're not going to do it in this deal.
Not in this deal.
I don't think you can do it in this deal.
Not this deal, but maybe a different deal, maybe. Because I'd want to get rid of Irving and or Simmons, because Hero's already shown some kind of just mental toughness issues on his own. He's not lacking for confidence.
Sure.
But it looks like he got too confident in himself and ended up like kind of putting himself in a bad spot there for a bit. So I worry about that from Brooklyn's side of things. For Miami, it's like, whoa. Now does this include what they have in terms of like current draft picks and two-way players and everything else?
Yeah, so Miami, as far as here, we'll do the quick Google search here. So the Miami Heat draft picks.
If you're gonna fuss at me, you're gonna have to get on camera. You know that. You're gonna have to do it.
Are we having a guest?
We're having a guest on the stream here because he just decided he just needed.
That's all right. All right. So the Miami Heat. Let's see. First off, do they own? Let me check and see. All right. So the Miami Heat have traded. They've actually, you know what? So they don't have any pick coming up 2023. No first or second round. They've traded their second round the year after that. Well, they have only one. Okay, so Miami only controls their 2024, 5, and I say only. They do control their 2024, 25, and 26 picks at least. And probably from there on. So 27, 28, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So they do have their first round picks. They don't have any second round picks.
Now, which of those picks are going to... We have to account for, what, 3 of those picks are going to have to go away.
Sure.
Right.
But they can't do them in a row. So we're talking 2024 would be the first pick they can trade, right?
Right.
So 2024, 2026, and 2028.
Okay.
Would be the amount of picks they would have to trade. first
now
round.
that could be. I could see that being enticing to Brooklyn as well, given what they already lost for. Because they.
Yeah, I don't think Brooklyn can make any deal that doesn't involve at least 2 draft picks coming back.
Right. So they can recoup some of that. So yeah.
Sure. Now, not all first round picks are equal either, right?
No.
So
right.
If I've just traded you KD and you have KD and Jimmy Butler in the East, odds are that pick isn't going to be top 10. It's going to be 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a deal. Unless I can get picks far enough out. So now maybe but at the same time, okay, so maybe Indiana gets picked, let's say 2023, right? Or 2024, sorry. 2024. Let's say Indiana gets that's the pick that goes to them. Because if I'm the Nets, I want the pick further out because these are a whole bunch of old people that I'm trading to you.
Right.
I want them unprotected, and I want 2026 and 2028. Because by that time, KD's either gone or retired or his contract's over, and your team is old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I might be able to go
get Miami's running up against the wall here, especially if this were to go down like this.
Sure. Yeah. So I kind of want those picks out. It's kind of like trading with the Lakers right now.
Sure.
The Lakers 2027 pick.
Right.
You know,
because that's really gonna
retire? Yeah, well,
it's gonna bust them at the kneecaps. Really, it's yeah. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So. Old man noises.
So that's an option.
That actually at least somewhat makes sense. I guess, yeah, because if you're Indiana, you like Turner's got to move because Turner's been on the trade talks for how long now?
Oh yeah,
and the guy's been playing solid ball.
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So you're gonna lose him either way.
You're gonna have to do something with them. I'm not mad at them getting Bam. I mean, really.
What do you do with Bam, though? What do? You turn around and trade him. See the OKC. See the OKC.
Well, we were just talking about, like, you want to talk about if you want to go for youth. Because, Bam's...
You get a guy and then trade him. You get a pick.
Yeah.
You get a pick. You make a trade. You get a pick. And then you trade that guy. And you get a pick. And then you trade that guy, and then you get a pick. That's how.
That's how OKC is looking right now with all this
17 picks in the first round.
Right. I guess what I was talking about is I wasn't mad at it from a player fit either. If you were to hold on to him,
absolutely, yeah.
I guess I'm okay
Tyrese
with it.
Halliburton, Buddy Hield.
Because effectively, all I've lost is Turner, and I've gotten Bam out of Bio, who's a good team, and he's one of those guys that could play on multiple teams too. He's got a solid kind of jack of all trades skill set. Yeah. I mean, hell, he won the skills challenge as a starting center for.
He looked real good in Chicago.
Sakes. Oh well. We already talked about that.
Right.
Sure. Well, then, okay. All right, Chicago. You want Bam. Indiana made the trade. This happened. This deal goes down.
So you're saying this is the deal?
This is the deal.
KD is out. KD's out of Brooklyn.
KD's out of Brooklyn. He's Miami's problem now.
Soap opera ends.
He can play with Jimmy Butler, or as I like to refer to him as in living color, Shaniqua.
I gotta tell you, how long do you think that tandem would work? Because Jimmy Butler is a lot more Draymond Green.
Oh yeah.
Steph Curry. And
look
Jimmy
who
has
you're
a
dealing
long
with.
history of not getting along with people.
Look who you're dealing with. Look who you're dealing with as a GM.
Oh man.
Again, we've talked about. I remember. I can't remember who it was. I told you that like Miami would be a great place for either Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons to go, just because they would either just have to quit the league or tighten up.
I gotta tell you, there's a part of me that would absolutely love Kyrie
in Miami. Yep.
I would
more
love to
for
watch
the
all of that.
But let's
of it. I want the HBO special Hard Knock. I want the NBA version
you
of
want to talk
Hard
about
Knocks.
you want to talk about HBO would make a bank because
I want to see Pat Riley talking to Kyrie Irving. I need that. That's what I need in my life. That would be amazing. That would
just enough
every minute of that.
Just enough of a COVID hit that like people aren't dropping like flies.
Yes.
Except for the dummies who won't take care of themselves. But
sure.
Like then like enough to where you'd have to have the conversation. Or I'm sorry, Kyrie would have to have the conversation with Riley.
I want all of that. I want to hear. That would be that would be so much fun.
Okay.
So much
all right. Just as kind of at sort of the tail end of the stream.
Okay.
This goes down.
All right.
So, but now we're looking at the Pacers directly, and then anybody else that may or may not need to be in the mix. Okay. If you're the Bulls and you really want Bam, could you make it happen? And if so, what would it take?
Okay, so right off the top, if you look at the Bulls as a team.
Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go let my dog out my door. I'll be right back.
Yep.
You keep talking, but just kind of think it through. Give you a chance to kind of look it over.
Yeah, because so Bam in this part of the metaverse, the multiverse, not metaverse, multiverse. Bam has been traded to the Indiana Pacers for Bam and a draft pick. So they got Bam and a draft pick. Yeah. Bam is making $30 million. That's the hard part.
That's the kicker.
That's tough. Because on the Bulls, you have Zach, you have DeMar, and you have Nikola Vucevic. Right. They're the big money people, and Lonzo. And you don't trade any of those for Bam. None of them.
Not even Vucevic.
Possibly, if you have to. And the reason I say if you have to, because I don't know that the Pacers. If you're the Pacers, do you want Vooch?
Now that's a whole different conversation. I mean? That's a different conversation. Yeah.
How old's Vooch? Let's check out Vooch's numbers here. So Vooch is 31. Almost 32.
Yeah, almost 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That's yeah,
and
you'd have to blow
goal
up.
Would be to be able to put him Bam
in
like
that
a
mix.
Perfect world.
Right.
If you could get Bam into this starting five.
Right.
Of Lonzo, Nikola, because all the things that Vooch does, Bam doesn't, and vice versa.
Okay, fair enough.
Like Zach's not going anywhere, DeMar's not going anywhere,
and see,
Lonzo's not going anywhere.
The other thing too is it looked like on that that trade tool you were looking at, it looked like the Pacers. It had the Pacers pretty deep compared to Miami or Brooklyn, as far as just the number of players there. And I don't know.
So they would come out in this case with no one else. Though to be fair, I could see them coming out with another, like a They could trade for the 2-time MVP Nikola Vucevic. Oh no, that's not him.
It's the other Nikola. Yeah, exactly.
The other Nikola Vucevic, or Djokovic rather. No, I'm saying Vucevic.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so they could probably get another, but that's what they're building, right? A whole bunch of young people.
Sure.
Halliburton, centered around him, probably Naismith, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, see, if I'm the Pacers, if I have a chance to have Bam, and I'm moving him already, and I'm if I'm looking at the Bulls, and again trying to go young, I would have to get P. Will in the trade.
There you go. That's
I mean, I'd have to get P. Will.
Without question, right? Like,
maybe even like a Kobe White, and then you'd also have to look at like the big thing too is I guess the question is if you kind of put it kind of on that trade tool, would the money work out right? Like, what would you have to be able to, like, and the picks aside and everything else, like, what would the money have to look like?
Little tough with them not having. But let's.
I was talking about like, okay, so you put the Heat in here so that the Heat can, so the Pacers can have Bam, and then okay. And then they would have to see that's the thing. You'd also have to almost put
so
Brooklyn, because you have to drop Turner.
I was gonna say I don't know that we'll be able to do.
You won't be able to because you only do 3. Okay.
Right. All right. Hang on. All right. So that was the trade over here. I think ESPN has one. I don't tend to like theirs quite as well. I think they can do 4 though. All right. So let's go down the road of really just hocus pocus here.
Right.
Nets, Bulls. It's an all Eastern Conference trade, let me tell you. And who are we saying?
Pacers. Indiana. Yep.
All right. Oh, there's going to be some specialness right here. Let me just tell you. All right. So.
Chicago's
looking at. Who's he going to? He's going to Miami.
Yeah.
KD. He starts it all off, right?
Yep.
All right. KD goes there. Miles Turner goes to the Nets.
So does Hero and Robinson on the Miami side.
So Miami's Robinson goes to the Nets. And where's Hero? Okay, Hero goes to the Nets.
And then Bam, let's assume Bam does go to the Pacers.
Okay, and that's what I can't do with theirs. I can't trade Bam in this one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's what I knew as a reason that I didn't use theirs, and I forgot what it was.
They might be accounting for something. I guess the question is are they blocking it because of just a simple fact that they wouldn't be able to do it?
It might have something to do with the whole weirdness with
yeah. Some of this other stuff, just because of
Mm-hmm.
Because you have some other guys in there, like Patty Mills, some other guys where they're definitely blocked out. But I mean, maybe
they probably haven't updated theirs. This is why ESPN's isn't always the greatest. To be
right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so let's just think about this, just like kind of looking at it more like this here. You have, it seems, over luxury tax. You got to send there. I'm
not as worried about Miami's.
No.
Like whatever happens.
Yeah, because they get Durant. They've got Durant.
Right. So from a P. Will has to go.
Yeah.
Kobe White.
I think so.
Financial reasons has to go.
Yeah. Which is weird because they're saying that Indiana's already over the luxury tax.
Yeah, because in this case, have I dealt?
Have you gotten rid of Miles Turner?
Yeah, let's refresh it just to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, so the Pacers, where are we at? Pacers. So who do we say? P. Will.
Yep.
Was going there.
Kobe
White was going there. And I feel like I'm negotiating against myself because I am. But if I'm the Pacers, there's another guy. He doesn't make a lot of money. There's another guy that I'd want. And his name is Aya.
Well, that's the one thing, because when we were looking at it, I saw you float over there, and I'd be questioning whether if I was Chicago, would I want to unload both of them?
No.
Because
no. And no.
So what about like a Javonte Green?
Sure. Absolutely. Done. Not even blinking an eye.
But he's a tough player. He's
That should tell you something though.
Yeah, I know. That's the trick.
Yeah.
I could almost think like to make that move work too. So let's say, okay, you've already got you're stuck with Andre Drummond. Do you toss Tony Bradley into the deal as well?
Oh yeah, Tony. Let me tell you the only people that matter on this team.
and I know from your perspective. I'm just thinking more just from
the
a
Bulls side.
Like I know you've got your top 4 right there. Probably 5. Like it would hurt to lose Caruso just because of what he brings off the bench.
I don't think you can trade Caruso.
But there you go.
Yeah. So and the reason I say that is I also don't think the Pacers really want. Like he doesn't bring anything to the Pacers. Caruso is a guy that you want on a team that's going for a championship, high caliber playoff team. He doesn't really do anything for you. You can't even really trade him for high draft capital.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's not going to bring you what you want. And herein lies the issue. First off, draft picks would have to go back.
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah.
At least one, right? So the Bulls don't have a draft pick until 2027 or 8, and I can't remember which one it is. I don't think the money might not work.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Derek Jones Jr., guys like that, sure. Pretty much for the Bulls, the only people that I wouldn't want to send in a trade for Bam, and this is where Vooch may have to go. He might have to go. And now we're talking about a different 3-team trade, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because Vooch to the Indiana, not that big. That's not your trade. Vooch, Indiana, and let's say going back to what Sith was talking about, the Charlotte Hornets.
Now,
Charlotte needs a big man.
Yep.
They send some first-round picks, etc., etc. Either Chicago's way or Indiana's way.
Right.
Chicago didn't have a lot of first-round picks, so they would probably need that to go to Indiana. So you send Vooch out, bring in Bam, Zach, DeMar, Bam, a healthy Lonzo, hopefully.
And you're assuming you're still keeping P. Will.
Now that's the catch. I'm not positive if I send out. If I'm Indiana, there's no way I do the deal without P. Will.
Okay. That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, even unless I'm getting.
Well, I guess it depends on what Indiana would also.
Like if I'm getting 2 draft picks, okay, maybe.
But could the Pacers maybe get something from the Hornets? There somewhere where it might be able to make up for it. You know what I mean? It had to be something.
So if you
DJ,
throw them in,
maybe.
Where are the Hornets? So if you said you went, let's say Vooch went out, He went to the Hornets. The Hornets send a draft pick back to Indiana for, via Chicago, however you want to work that out. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
But do you trade Vucevic for one draft pick to the Hornets?
Well, no. That's where I look at maybe like either be like a Plumlee or Washington or like
Oubre.
no, like if I can get Oubre.
See,
I mean,
if
you
you're
still have to kind of figure out the
Chicago,
big
you probably
situation.
Probably want Washington. And if you get Washington, then maybe you're not quite as
Heard about getting rid of P.
against-
Will. Yeah.
maybe you're not quite as against that, and maybe that saves you a draft pick. That type of deal. There would be all
Sure.
kinds of money that would have to work out, and we can't really do the trade because the real money would be $30 million of Bam.
For Bam. Yeah, because
In
this is
this
all contingent
scenario,
on also
yeah.
getting Bam.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's where
this
I'd
is-
also wonder, would I take PJ Washington, or would I maybe look at maybe something like
The Bulls
hey,
don't want to trade P. Will. I'll just tell you that now.
I know they
P.
don't.
Washington going to Indiana, and they were interested. Great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mazel tov. So now you're talking PJ Washington plus a draft pick for Vooch. Do you make that deal? If you're Charlotte?
That with 22 million sitting there, that's tough.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
now keep this in mind, though. It's 1 year. He's a free agent at the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this isn't like a Kevin Durant situation.
Right. That's why the people that do this stuff on a regular basis get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, no, for sure.
'Cause-
And we're 2 trades in. I mean, that's how complicated KD has just made it for the Nets, is what it kind of comes down to.
Right. Because
Like,
also then
we're
you're going to
2
get
trades down the line of possible.
you're going to get
and-
players that are just like probably not even quite
There's such a ripple
at
effect
his level. That's the thing.
across.
There's gonna be sort of just this kind of, you're gonna get people that are gonna assume that they've got enough swagger that they don't really have, and then you're gonna have some players that may actually do have a competent case if we're really living in a world where KD can play this shit.
Right.
And that's probably the biggest detriment of the whole thing, is just this whole we're 2008 was the Boston super team.
Yeah.
And then it rippled out to Miami in 2010.
And how many things have rippled off of that? Yeah.
And then from there on, it's just the dominoes have just been falling. And I think we're getting to a point where the dominoes have all just about fallen down. And
fallen too many times at this
then,
point.
yeah. Where then we're just kind of looking at it more from like an old school situation of trying to handle a trade. You can't even predict the crazy machinations that are going on now for a lot of the teams. Like we're looking at like the Hornets and Miami and the Bulls, there's probably not enough room there, or probably like within the 3 teams that would probably actually play out more like a standard trade, as long as the money works and everything, the picks are right. All that stuff.
Yes.
But then once you start getting out to multitude of teams, the only saving grace is that the majority of the players that would pull this crap are on the Nets.
Yeah. And
I mean, LeBron's just waiting to get his boy in LA get one more year in, and because that dude's got businesses he needs to run.
Yeah, right.
So
But
now you're
honestly,
dealing with
is his boy at this point? I think.
Well, I'm not saying that like what could happen.
I know who you were talking about,
but
he means his actual son.
Yeah.
But speaking of his boy, there is another disgruntled, crazy superstar on the Nets. And we'll talk about that later on this week.
Oh man, I have a mental block.
Man, I'm with you.
When it comes to both Kyrie and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Both of those fools. I just have a real hard time thinking about much of anything outside of watching them both dig their own graves. Really, that's about it. Like, that's where my brain goes, and it's hard for me to break out of that picture. As far as like that, I mean, like really outside, like, hey, just quit the NBA. You're
tiring.
Good.
They're just
with the NBA.
You meet those people in life, just in general, that are just tiring, and there's no other way to describe it. Like, their sheer presence wears on you. That is Kyrie for sure. And then Ben Simmons decided he wanted to be one of those.
Not much better. Yeah. Something about them. Something about black point guards
Kyrie
from
has
Australia.
At least shown over and over again, like he wants to be that guy. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room all the time, but isn't.
I mean, like, it's crazy. I mean, it's so crazy. It's Australian black point guards.
Yes, forgot about that. That is true. Yeah, Kyrie does have some. Yeah.
Now, granted, Kyrie spent most of his time up in New York, but
sure.
But still.
But the whole Kyrie thing, and we'll jump into this another time, sure.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole other stream by itself.
Yeah, because that's a special kind of. It's crazy. Kyrie stuff. You think, it started with LeBron, right? No. It started with Coach K.
It just put the spotlight on him. It just put the spotlight on him.
Yeah.
And
I think I did this in one video probably a year ago, or maybe not quite that long. Whenever Kyrie was first going through his insanity.
Oh yeah.
Most recently.
Yeah.
I think I did a one-off clip on and went through the things. When he was at Duke, I mean, I'm in ACC country, so I remember him at Duke. There were issues with him there. He sat out basically the whole year when he was at Duke, and it wasn't just because of his toe was hurt or his ankle. Something on him was hurt. It wasn't because of that. There was more to it. Duke, he gets to Cleveland. He's got some issues. Then LeBron shows up. He's got more issues. He goes to Boston after he wins a championship. He has issues. He goes to the Nets. He has issues. I mean, at some point, juice is not worth the squeeze. And I think that might sum up our whole night. What is the juice worth the squeeze? And at this point, I'm not sure the KD, and definitely not Kyrie. Like, I don't put KD quite into that category yet, but
I think the biggest thing for me,
lie down with dogs.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is that it's not just a matter of KD's age catching up to him in terms of play on the court, but also, is he kind of getting into the age where there's no change in the dude?
It's what you are.
You are what you are at this point. And okay, great. Yep, great talent on the court. Okay, awesome. Might be able to make it work. Again, I get it's kind of like one of those things where if he's gonna go anywhere and kind of just get the fear of God put into him to the point where he might start to recognize what's what, Miami's not a bad place for him to go. because Riley ain't playing that crap. Like this whole like that whole thing where I was talking about like that.
Riley
how I would play that
conversation.
Yeah,
as far as like work with you and things like that.
Yeah,
and I'm a Bulls fan. Riley is not a. I'm not a fan of him. You know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. You know, we whipped his ass all through the '90s. So anyhow, but with that said,
50 years ago,
I'm not a fan of him court wise.
Sure,
and I'll take the Bulls hat off for a minute.
Right.
Random. Nah, he's a heck of a GM. Like that. Like that's the front office president, not even GM, president, whatever he is.
Yeah.
Grand Poobah of all things that are Miami.
Let's put it this way: he's the whole front office, back office, like everything off, like from like regardless of who's in those positions. He's like the Vince McMahon of running a basketball association. All decisions go through him.
All things go through him.
All things go through him. The only thing above him is the owner.
They talk about that. They're like, oh, the Miami Heat culture. He is the Miami Heat culture. He is it. Yeah. So I mean, like guys like it would just. We talked about this earlier. I would absolutely love every minute. I would love to there be a hard Knox version of the Kyrie
going to Miami. Oh yeah.
That would be amazing. I would love every minute of that. So.
Yeah, anyhow. I think we've beaten this horse about as far. I mean, it's dead. It's been done dead. It's done, gone, buried, popped back up again, buried up again. Yeah, it's. For sure. And I don't know. Right now, as things are constituted, I almost kind of feel bad for the teams that are like vying for him right now, because
it's a sticky situation, right? The Nets can't just give in and send them for a song and a dance.
No and
but if I'm a team trading for him, I might be sending a song and maybe 2 dances, but not much more. You know, there's
I'd have to be able to cover the salary, be able to have the cap.
Right.
I'd have to be able to give enough away to Brooklyn
to make it enticing.
But then again, not give enough away to where we're not in contention in the next couple of years, because why else in the hell are you doing it?
Yeah. I can't send you all of my best talent and then just have KD.
Because he's not going to win it for you.
Well, 1, he's not going to win it for you. And 2, he's just going to turn around and do the same thing because he's not going to win here.
Right. So and here's the other trick is that, you know, he's not the kind of player like a Tim Duncan or a Dirk Nowitzki who specifically renegotiated contracts so that they got paid less so that the team could get more.
Yeah, no, his contract is at the end of his contract 4 years from now is going to be $53 million. Even with the salary cap increasing, like you always got to add that in. Salary cap does increase each year for the most part. 53 million is 53 million.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. I mean, and like really, at the end of the day, if it doesn't equate to gold, why? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think there is a win-win here. I don't think there is a scenario. Maybe, you know, again, this is why these guys make the big bucks. They might be able to do some serious, like, there might be like this might be like a 6-team, like, just horribly convoluted. Like
it is going to break every. It is going to break every trade machine there is on the interweb.
Next thing you know, somehow, some way, OKC, without even being involved in the trade whatsoever, gets another 29 picks.
They get at least 2 more draft picks.
Like 2 more draft picks out of it. They just pick them out of the air. You get a draft pick. You get a draft pick. They both go to OKC. They're somehow.
Now, I mean, the irony of ironies.
Oh man. For that fool to end up at OKC.
The irony of irony. That would be amazing. I would love all of that. Would be because
with Russ.
Stop for a second. If you think about it, isn't that the Nets' best trade? Couldn't they get the most from OKC? For the simple reason, OKC has the most.
They have the trades. They have the young talent.
And they, Lord knows how to have the draft picks. All of them. They have all of them. 17 in the next 3 years, 5 years, 4 years. 17 picks. They can turn their whole roster over in the next 3 years.
And they could they could bring back Ty Jerome and Joe Harris.
Bring everybody back. Everybody.
Just
everybody.
I'm about to ruin this man's whole career.
We want Joe Harris and KD. Gonna send back. Do you send back Chet? Do you send back Chet for KD?
I'd almost say, well, you'd have to give up something. So I'd almost maybe look at more like a Dort.
You gotta go. You gotta look at
or SGA.
Right?
Yeah.
SGA's almost has to go.
Right.
I don't even think there's a possibility that he does it. Because he's 30 million, the next guy is 15.
Right.
Dort, sure, you can't, but you couldn't trade him until
I can't trade him. Okay.
You can't trade him until the first.
So
15th, rather.
What if send like Ty over? Just because I want Joe and Ty together. I just want Ty and Joe together. Why not? I mean, we're kind of here's you got SGA, then you've got like
Derek Favors because money.
So let's
still not enough money. Holy crap!
Okay, let's talk about their key guys here. Okay, you've got young talent. You've got Holmgren, you've got Giddey, you've got Dieng. And you've got Poku. And it's bad when I'm messing with it. Pokusevski.
Yeah.
So Pokusevski is a guy who, he
I
can
actually like him.
Yeah, he's a solid player. Yeah. I wouldn't want to lose both him and Holmgren together.
Well, but at the same time, you gotta kind of have something to put KD with, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you have
4 draft picks, 5 draft picks, like how many draft picks? Because that's really forget the players for a minute. That's really what this comes down to: draft picks, right?
How do I recoup those draft picks that I lost?
So KD is going here. I'm sending, me being OKC, I'm sending 5 draft picks. Let's say I'm gonna send you 5 draft picks. In the perfect world, if I'm OKC, I don't know how. I don't know what I have to trade. It may have to be the rest of the team. I want KD, Shai Gilgeous, and Chet together. Everybody else, muzzles.
Well, I was going to say, it looks like you can't, because you can't.
I don't know.
You can't do. Well, no, but like the previous trade that you had. You couldn't take SGA anyway because Brooklyn couldn't take on another max contract player. Trade.
Is he one of those?
So if you move him back, if you move him back, it'll tell you.
Oh yeah, he might fall into that category. He's
so he's not part of the conversation anyway.
He falls into the BAM group.
Yeah.
So he's not part of the. So Dort.
You can't move Dort.
So you can't move him until the 115. So
Okay.
you can trade him, but you just can't trade him. You couldn't trade him this summer.
Okay.
You would have to wait. That's how.
Okay.
That's because he just signed that extension, and those players don't become eligible. So you would have to wait. This is a deal that couldn't happen right away. You throw 15 million over here. That's what, 25, 29, and then Josh Giddey is a really good player, young rookie, young guy.
Yeah,
you got to send him.
Yeah.
Does that get you there? Does that get you there? No.
It's so if I'm Brooklyn, if I'm Brooklyn and I can get Dort.
Sure.
See, Favors is like Favors just he's just kind of in the mix because he has to be.
He is called salary filler.
Right.
The biggest thing you're getting in this trade is
picks,
5 draft picks.
You're getting picks and Giddey. You're getting, I'd say, probably close to 6. But if I get Dort now, maybe 5 with if you put Dort kind of contingent and Giddey. Ty Jerome's not a bad player, but he's not going to be a real mover. Yeah, he's not a mover, and obviously because Favors is
Trey Mann was probably be in this deal. Trey Mann's a decent player.
Okay.
Because again, the thing in this trade is the draft picks.
Right. And the thing about it, especially having SGA, the thing about it is like Giddey's listed as a shooting guard, but he's more of a combo guard.
Yeah,
he's tall, but he's more of a combo guard, and so it's trying to figure out how to make that work. I can keep Chet, Dieng, and Poku, who's pretty much like and then you got Robinson Earl in the mix, Kenrick Williams, so you've got kind of your front court solidified. Then you've got, if you keep SG,
KD.
Well, that's right. You got KD.
Yeah, right.
And then you got Chet, Poku, and KD somewhere in the mix. Maybe Dieng. Maybe you bring Poku off the bench. So you've got because you got
the 7-foot shooting guard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Him.
Yeah.
Oleski.
So you're not looking too bad there. It's just
not
more
a
matter.
horrible team.
No,
but that's not a team that KD wants to be on.
But again, this is where it's kind of like exactly.
If I'm the Nets,
I don't. For Giddey, and I said Man's not a bad player. Like I said, Ty's going to give you some solid minutes and a bunch of draft picks that I just threw away effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah. For more than anything else, I'd say Giddey by himself along with the picks would be sufficient, and then basically you're getting filler, and you're helping to fill up your roster, and then figure out what the hell to do with either Kyrie or Ben.
Oh sure. To be fair,
I wouldn't be done.
If I was the Nets, I wouldn't have too much of a problem hanging on to Ben for right now.
Okay. But not Kyrie.
Worst case, you bring up his trade value and then trade him.
Sure.
Right now, who's going to trade for him?
Right.
What are they going to do?
No.
Bag of chips, not a full bag.
Oh no, you're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, I found this off a bench over here. You know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You could maybe get a first-round pick for Joe Harris. You probably get a first-round pick for Kyrie. Stuff like that. You can still piece it together. And now suddenly you've got something to work with building around a team of Simmons possibly, and Giddey, and a whole bunch of picks.
And see, that's the thing too.
All the picks that you sent away, you just got
I unload Irving.
Oh sure, no,
for sure.
As soon as you get rid of KD, Irving is on the next boat out of there.
Right. But if I have if I have Giddey and I've already got 2 competent point guards in the mix already, I'm, at least as far as like from the coach's standpoint, basically what I'm going to be telling Ben is more of again, he's not going to be shooting. He's not going to be a bad defender.
No,
but I'd probably put him more like a power forward.
Ben, you want to be the star? Great. Here's a team that you can be the star, like legitimately.
Yeah, sure.
But I think
and you wouldn't even have to be. He wouldn't have to be the point guard. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have to be the point guard either. Is the thing. No. He could be a scorer. He could be a front court scorer. Yeah,
small forward, point forward, whatever that is. Yeah. You want to be the star? Be the star.
Yeah.
Be the star of this team.
But you got to do it.
Yeah, but you got to do it. Like, here's your chance. And that only bodes well for you, because let's say he does become that, and you're like, hey, we still want to get rid of him before he goes forward.
Sure. Yeah. You tell him whatever you need to tell him.
Right. You tell him all the things. Right. And then send him on his way. But
I'm not mad. Anyhow. I'm not mad at it. But yeah, I think we can kind of go down the whole road about what would look like Kyrie. But yeah, I think Holmgren. SGA, Holmgren. Then like you could figure out between Jang and Poku, because both of those they could be kind of like, Poku can kind of play. He's not really a
that deal.
Center.
You're jumping from we're trying to have a whole bunch of draft picks to we want to contend. So that's when you bring in guys that other teams have now cut. The Patty Mills, I'm looking just here.
Sure.
Joe Harris's, because you transition all those young players that you're like, hey, we're building all these young players. Send them. They're gone. They're gone.
For true.
So what, we need X. Okay, you know what? Poku. I wouldn't even begin to try that name again.
Pokusevsky.
He
needs to.
Time to go. I need a veteran. You immediately flip that and switch over to
them. Yeah. It's a shame because again, it's kind of one of those situations where
you still have like a ton of draft picks, even if you send 6.
I know.
We just made that up.
But
you send 6 to the Nets, you still have 11 in the next 3 years.
Oh, good God. But I was just kind of, I don't know, something about this team as it's constituted right now, like having a chance to kind of get together and kind of make some things happen. Seems to be a bit of a weird kind of hodgepodge of stuff, but you kind of picked everything together. For some reason, I kind of got like, early Sacramento King vibes out of them. You've got you got a lot of tall guys, but kind of weirdly put together. But you got a lot of length, but also a lot of skill and shooting and shit like that out of the mix of it. And then, especially when even with SGA, you've got a guard, point guard that he's not quite like a Nash or a Bibby, but a Jay Williams or a Bibby, and again, like he's 6'6". I mean, that whole lineup right there. You've got Dort. Like Dort would obviously you'd be starting him at the 2. Right now they got him pegged at the 3, but he's like 6'3". Like put him at the 2. No,
you're talking about over here.
Like no, I'm just talking about like how they're no. I'm talking about just how the OKC's constituted right now. Forget about the trading. Just as like what they have with them right now. Like they've got a pretty interesting looking young team.
They do.
And like just enough defense, that, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Keep building.
And then you can hold on to those draft picks, like where you were talking about, where you might need to maybe start to fill in some veteran talent to help them along.
Instead of me trying to chase ghosts from the past.
Right.
Do I just keep building where I'm at?
Although
Small market. OKC's a small market. They're not New York, not LA, not Chicago.
But see, then you can turn around and kind of build something up, almost guerrilla warfare style, like nobody paying attention, and then
always something
boom.
Special about that. Like the NBA, the NBA that you and I grew up with, that was how it was done. This whole like we're gonna just go and play NBA 2K in real life and trade everybody that let me get my friends together and we're all gonna play together. I'm not even knocking it, but that's more of the LeBron NBA,
right?
As opposed to I want to kick this other dude's head in. We can be friends off the court. Like off the court's fine. We can go play golf. Jordan was best buddies with
Barkley and other guys, Antron Walker, other folks. Yeah, I mean he had
wouldn't have considered teaming up with them.
No.
Barkley's even said that. He's like, no, that just was not. What? Why would we? What? Huh? No, we want to win. We want to beat you.
Right.
That's called competition. There's something special about having that team that is built up, especially from a fan base perspective.
Oh yeah,
you've seen your guys get drafted. You've seen them lose together. You've seen them get slightly better. You see them bring in another young guy, and they get a little bit better and a little bit better. That's always the more special team. Teams in Miami don't understand it. LA doesn't understand it. I get that. There's something special about those teams that you've seen grow up together and then break into the playoffs and then win their first playoff series, then become a contender. There's just it's far more satisfying, especially in a small market. If you're in a bigger market, it's a little bit different because you have a lot of stuff happening. But Oklahoma City, I mean, what other pro team are they cheering for?
Oh,
they got nothing else going on.
Nobody. I mean, it's college football.
I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying this just back to the matter.
Yeah, they're looking at college football. That's it.
That's it.
They might be looking at they might be looking at like Kansas City.
Sure.
But that's it. Yeah,
sure.
So. But yeah, I mean, what kind of crack you smoking? Talking about like a young team built organically in a small market, man. What the hell are you talking about, dude?
What are you talking about?
I know.
Young team.
No, it exists. It actually currently exists. I know.
The Bulls back in the day were a young team.
Yep.
That broke through. They got into the playoffs. The young Jordan and Scottie.
After they got rid of
young Jordan at the time.
After they got rid of the coke-addled old guys that Jordan was playing with beforehand.
They brought in new people, young guys.
Yep.
They upgraded the coach, then they upgraded them again.
Yep.
It's those little things along the way. They hit their head on the the Boston Celtics at the time, and then Boston, they leveled up past them, and then there was that team from some little dinky city in Motors and something or another, and they bumped their heads against them, and then they kicked their butts to the curb, and then they broke through. Then they got their title, got their title, and many more. But they had to do it together. Like you went as a fan, young fan at the time, you went along for the ride. You went
exactly.
The reason that I still hate that team from some Motor City, all of that is still like ingrained in me as a fan because I was along for that ride.
Right.
That whole trip.
And that does get mixed. That does get missed nowadays more, especially where more now. Granted, some could argue that a lot of it kind of started in with like a little bit with the Magic Bird competition, but also especially with Jordan, kind of where the NBA started, the fan base started focusing in maybe a little bit more on the player versus team.
The team.
But at least back then, people didn't move around anywhere near as much. So
and maybe that's what,
and it was
maybe
kind of a way
we'll need to talk about on
yeah, because I think
build the team from the ground up as opposed to
and having it where maybe you are tied to a player, but at the end of it, really the player's tied to the team as well. So by default, you end up following the team, even if you are more of a player-focused fan versus a team-focused fan. Whereas now, if you're a player-focused fan, there's no reason to really root for a team as it was. You're more following that player around wherever they go because they're going to move around and it doesn't matter.
Well, even back, okay, Scottie Pippen's my favorite player of all time. So Scottie left Chicago, went to Houston. I was still a Bulls fan.
Sure.
But did I watch Houston play? Of course I did.
Sure.
Bulls were terrible. That did help things out.
I was going to say, and also Scottie was kind of really
in Chicago at the time.
Scottie was sunsetting at that point to be fair. So I mean,
he had peaked probably a couple of years and he had plateaued. By the time he went to Houston, he was on the plateau still. I don't think he hadn't started to fall. He didn't start to fall until after he went to Portland. He went to Houston, then he went to Portland. So he was still on the plateau when he was in Portland the first year, because that was the year he actually should have won a title without Michael.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year. They had every reason to do it, and Scottie's my favorite player, but I gotta just take the fanboy hat off for a second. This is why he was always second fiddle.
Right.
He was ahead in the fourth quarter, game 7, 15-point lead against Shaq and Kobe, and he didn't finish it. So, and he didn't win a title. But that's where that goes. Anyhow.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to talk about that on stream one day. The difference between the plus and minuses of building a team from scratch versus
versus all this now.
Try to go get the star player, salary cap, et cetera, et cetera. So,
definitely
all right,
from there. Yep. Thank you, everybody that hopped on tonight.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you. Thank you.
But we fixed the NBA. We fixed it. We fixed
it. That was it.
Silver, just watch the stream, and I'll give you the address to send the checks to. We got to get the checks. We got to get the checks. Always told every boss that I ever worked with, it's all about the checks and the balances. As long as the checks go into my balances, we're at least at an even keel. And when the checks don't show up in my balances, we got a problem.
For sure.
All right, everybody.
Right, and listen, again, thank you all for being here for sure. Couldn't do this. Definitely couldn't do this without you. Even you, Seth. Appreciate you being here too.
You'll get another ghost. You'll get another ghost/shadow ban.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonight.
I would love to take credit for that. Love to take credit for that. I can't do it. It wasn't me. like you said earlier, the words of Shaggy wasn't me. So.
All right, everybody. This is Getting Work signing out.
Later, fam.